Welcome everybody to Let the Madness Begin, LTMB Live. How's everybody doing? This is Tuesday, January 9th, 2018. What's up everybody? My name is Will Gaillard.
And I'm Mike White.
Hope everybody had a good weekend. Hope everybody didn't get too brutalized by the what was it? Bomb cyclone?
The bomb cyclone.
The bomb cyclone.
You know, it's crazy because like here it was probably real cold for a week, and all of a sudden, yeah, it was just warmed up again.
It was like 57
something degrees. Crazy. I came outside and I was like, what's this? I mean, I was fine. I was happy.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. It's just
it went from like being frigid,
frigid
to where you can be outside for 3 minutes and not feel your fingers.
Right. And now it's, I think they're supposed to be like that all week now. It's crazy. All right, let's bring Facebook in. Let's see. I think we're live on Facebook. I cannot see anything.
I can't see it. Okay, there we go.
What's going on, Facebook?
It just popped up on the screen.
Welcome to Let the Madness Begin, LTMB Live, with your host, the incredible Michael White. I'm Will Gaillard. Thank you for being here with us again. It's Tuesday, January 9th. What's happening, everybody?
Yeah.
I know you watched that game last night, Mike, right?
You know what's so funny, man? I was like about to like leave. I was about to leave and go drive.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I mean, I'm going to wait till about the end of the third quarter, then I'll make my decision. I ain't going to watch the rest of it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I made the decision to keep watching.
It was a good game. I will say it was a good game.
It ended up being a very
competitive,
very competitive, and the finish was magnificent. Actually.
Yeah. You said it, magnificent. Star may have been born last night.
Actually, man, like 5 stars.
That's true.
Because, I mean, if you think about it, it wasn't just Tua. It was because the person who caught the dude who caught the touchdown was a freshman.
Yeah.
The dude who's made one of the jokers who made the catch on the sideline on that last drive, he was a freshman.
Yeah.
The running back, he was a freshman.
Yeah.
So it was like a bunch of young cats making plays, man, in the championship game.
They haven't made names for themselves prior to that game, really. So.
Yeah. So
it's a good game. Good game. So we got a good show for you guys. Have a lot of things to discuss. We just might as well just dive right into it.
Oprah. I know. I'm just playing. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Just let you know we will be talking about that because
we have gotten some messages about it. We've seen what people have been saying
over my feed. Like I'm telling you, man, it's been like dominating my feed. I'm like, oh Lord, now we gotta talk about this.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about Oprah. But yeah, on YouTube, Diesel's in the house. Gene, Aaron. What's up, everybody? We don't see anybody on Facebook.
We just
yet.
got some people. We got
there's some people coming in. So anyway, what we're gonna start out with is a headliner for the day. Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon has resigned from his role at Breitbart. This is seemingly in response to the media firestorm that was created by, the details being released of the book by Michael Wolff, the book entitled Fire and Fury.
None of that stuff is true, though, right? None of it's true.
That's funny. Hey, Trump said it wasn't true. And there, I've seen on CNN some of it was inaccurate. Well, they said that some of it was inaccurate, but that some of it wasn't. So whatever. Trump is saying that the whole thing is phony, but Bannon, I guess, felt like because Bannon's goal was to, going back to his role in the White House, he was the chief strategist, right? Mm-hmm. His role was to kind of implement the agenda,
set the agenda for the Trump administration, and also have some input on who Trump chose for key positions.
The nominees. Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So for his cabinet.
So this is, I guess this is throwing dirt really on what the agenda is trying to do, I guess. I guess it's just creating an obstacle to get over. So I guess Steve Bannon kind of felt like in the sea storm of all this, you know, of all these theatrics, you know, that he wanted to step down so that he wasn't being focused on anymore.
Or you mean like he didn't want to be the person that kind of I wouldn't say I'm not going to go as far as saying brings down Trump's administration, but like puts kind of well, I would say puts a negative kind of taste in people's mouths, but that's already been done.
Yeah, it's already been done.
He doesn't want to, like, I guess, further disrupt anything. Right. He doesn't want his name to further disrupt anything Trump's administration wants to do.
Right. Because in the book, he was very critical, or it came out that he was critical of Trump and Trump's family. He referred to Don Jr. as treasonous. Now, days later, after the book did come out, he offered somewhat of an apology.
A backtrack?
Yeah, a little bit of a backtrack, saying that
it wouldn't be a back. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. He go ahead.
Well, he said that he apologized for. I guess he kind of said that he apologized for his language and putting that on Don Jr. He said Don Jr. was a patriot, was a good man, and really his contempt was focused on Paul Manafort as it relates to like the Russian whole connection, you know, what happened with that meeting.
So wait a second, like, so in trying to offer his explanation for his words or supposed words, or trying to backtrack and kind of explain the contradiction, he kind of made another suggestion. Kind of, do you see what I'm saying? He's kind of suggesting that there's some connection to the Russians,
right? Why would he do that?
Why would he do that? And trying to explain something away to absolve himself, to not make himself look like a curmudgeon, he then suggests there's some sort of connection with Russians. Why would he do that?
I don't know. I don't know. On his way out. Well, I mean, it hadn't been announced at that point.
And
that
my
he was
thing is,
Breitbart,
okay. And if none of that, what's the point of stepping down from Breitbart? Isn't he said he was going to go to bat for Trump?
He did. That was his main objective.
That was his main objective. That was the main objective surrounding him relinquishing his position at the White House. He said he can do better work at Breitbart. Yeah, I think we both knew that was garbage, and he was either being pushed out or he was pushing himself out because he over-exaggerated his importance and he recognized he wasn't going to have a lot of say in what this administration did.
Well, you remember when he left his post at the White House, his role at the White House, it seemed like that was in response to another set of details that came out with the interview that he had just recently, in which he kind of went against Trump's ideas, especially on North Korea. So it was pretty much right after that he had to leave.
And the thing is, to me, it's not a secret that there was a lot of conflict within the White House. I mean, we saw it from day to day, from week to week.
From day one, really.
But yeah, with all the constant changes being made, there was leaks inside the White House from the Obama administration and whatever it is. But to me, if there's no merit to the book or the things that are in the book, why would he go? Like, why would he duck and cover? Why is he stepping down at Breitbart? My thing is, if none of it's true. Like, even if some of it's fake, whatever, if some of it's false, but to me, that's kind of a soft admission that some of it could be true. Why would he duck and cover? Why would he leave Breitbart? Why? You see what I'm saying?
I don't know. I guess just, on the surface, in the media, it's just being described as because of the backlash that came with the book being promoted and the details being released, and now the book has been released. It just painted Trump, his family, the White House in a negative light.
But and what the funny thing is, it's like, honestly, I don't think that's anything different that has been going on for the past couple years. Like, if you don't like whatever you want to know about Donald Trump and his family is out there. It's out there already.
But this was an inside scoop.
Yeah, this is an inside scoop. Supposedly Wolf had. Well, apparently, Wolf was on the inside himself.
Yeah, he was invited in,
and he was not. There was no, I guess, parameters surrounding him being in very, I guess, himself being put in very, I guess, vulnerable to Trump and Trump's administration positions.
And he admitted it himself, saying that he pretty much said what needed to be said so that he could gain access and gain the story. I think maybe I'm just stepping out on a limb here, but I think that's a product of this administration being very inexperienced. Like, why would you let somebody in without any provisions? Why would you let somebody in like without a leash? Because essentially that's what they let him do. Well, so I mean, it kind of does give credence to some of this stuff being true, because like he was on the inside and they were like, yeah, whatever. We're. But think about who Donald Trump is, though. If you're saying the right things to Donald Trump, you're kissing his behind,
smoozing,
yeah. Then he's gonna let you win. You're his type of guy.
I'm gonna write all this great stuff about this administration. I'm here to cover the greatest administration in the world.
Bamboozled.
Yeah, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I mean, whether I don't really care too much about the book.
Yeah, no, I mean, because it's relatively pointless. I mean, yeah, it's a good piece of, I guess, gossip and
sensationalism.
Yeah, it's
even if some of the stuff is true, is it true to the point that it reveals something that you didn't know already
or suspect?
Right. And is it will anything in there make his approval rating go up or down? If you look at his base and those who unconditionally support him, is anything in there going to like stop their support? No.
It was about as meaningful as Hillary's newest book.
Choke. I mean, what was it called?
What happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
I don't know why I said choke.
You don't know what I said?
I was gonna say like I was thinking everything but the title. I was thinking choke, cough. And I was thinking about I was thinking about. Down in Brazil, hacked.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, the book is, like you said, just sensationalism. It really doesn't mean anything, at least not to me. But just noting how Bannon has gone from top dog status, to now he's not even at Breitbart.
He went
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. He went from like top dog status, like they had his like little king chair, in the Oval Office,
leading stuff, man.
Leading stuff. Yeah. Ordering people around, pretty much. Now they got this mug sleeping under the bridge.
I'm saying, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Who knows where he's gonna go now, man? We'll see.
Like I said, I said this before. I think he was just in it for himself anyway. I think he's an opportunist. He's a capitalist. Like I just think it's funny that people think that Steve Bannon was kind of go for bat to working people when he has a history. Well, not just a history. He used to work at Goldman Sachs. He's an opportunist. He's a capitalist. He entered this administration because he wanted to use it as some sort of like vessel to like promote his own agenda.
You forgot job creator, man. He's a job creator.
Yes, he is, because he created a job for somebody else to step into.
No doubt. Now,
in multiple places in the White House.
Yeah.
Now at Breitbart. So technically, he is a job creator.
Bannon, man, good going, man. But anyway, yeah, like I said, we'll see where he lands in his next his next stop. But anyway, all right. So let's get to Oprah Winfrey. Yeah, Oprah Winfrey. So the internet, social media, has been losing their minds over Oprah Winfrey because of some recent, I guess, speculation, some news reports concerning Oprah possibly running for president in the next election.
Would you call it a bomb cyclone went off?
Yeah, straight up, right? This was like I guess a political bomb cyclone or something like that, right? So we're gonna deal with this in two parts, because really where this emanated from was her speech at the Golden Globes. So we're gonna deal with it in two parts, just referencing the speech and then like what came after it. Okay, so at the speech, okay, she was presented the award for the she was the recipient of the Golden Goals annual Cecil B. DeMille Award. It was a Lifetime Achievement Award. So when she got up to give her speech, it was about 7, 8 minutes, 9 minutes long, something like that. I saw the whole thing. She was very passionate, while she was at the mic. She talked about a few different things, but mostly she talked about empowering women and how this was the time that powerful men were not going to be able to take advantage of women any going forward.
Yeah, the time for that is done. The time for that is over.
Like we're on the horizon of a new day.
And she also kind of stressed that, it doesn't matter how you look, doesn't matter what background you come from. It's like all of these stories, especially from women, matter. Right.
That's what she was saying. Yeah, that was the largest portion of her speech. Now she began by kind of I guess recounting how she saw Sidney Poitier won this award back in the day. Well, actually, she started with how he won Best Actor, and then later on, some years later, he won this same award.
Yeah, right.
And she had said that she had never seen a black man celebrated in that way before, and I guess it was really uplifting to her. So I had somewhat a problem with that, just a little bit, because I understood what she meant by that, on a large scale, not seeing a black person celebrated like that before. But it still kind of, I guess penetrated my ears in the kind of wrong way, because it was like, by that point, Sidney Poitier had already been celebrated by many, 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 many black people. So really what she was saying was that he had not been, or a black person had not been celebrated by
he didn't cross over.
Yes, by white people.
By white people.
Yeah, he was not universally accepted, I guess, like in this country by white people. No black person had been celebrated to her eyes like that before. So it's, I understood what she said. It was still just kind of like, yeah,
To me, it was a decent speech, but
it was a decent speech.
It was a decent speech, and I think maybe the way she constructed the speech and the subject matter and how she delivered it in her Oprah fashion, it was good. She gave a great speech. She's been in the public eye for over 2 decades.
No doubt. Like I said,
this is her arena. This is her lane.
Judging the whole speech on what it was motivational,
inspirational,
uplifting. Like I said, the heart of the speech was drawn, or was about empowering women and saying that, look, we are on we're on the cusp of a new day where we are not going to be accepting powerful men abusing their authority, their position anymore. So there's going to be a day where we won't have to say me too anymore. And I totally agree with her. So, like I said, just judging the speech for the merits of the speech,
for what it is.
Yeah, I say it was a good speech.
In the subject matter of the speech, okay, great.
Right.
It was a very. I don't think it was a very broad subject matter.
No, it wasn't broad.
It's not going to give you a new perspective
a lot of things
on the world. It's not going to give you a new perspective on politics. I think it was kind of a niche speech,
right?
Which is fine.
Right.
I have no problem with it.
So let's go to the second part of this. What came afterwards? The day after.
Let's talk about the freak out. And some of y'all probably going to be a little set aside.
So after the speech, the day after, people may have been waking up or, getting lunch and being presented with news that Oprah Winfrey is entertaining the thought of a presidential bid in 2020. Now these were just reports citing unnamed sources.
Inside sources say.
Yeah. So, sources maybe close to her saying that she's been thinking about it and that maybe she had, but I think we have heard before that she had thought about it before.
That's the thing. That question has been posed to her before. I think like when she, you know, showed her fervent support for Obama and she was kind of talking about politics more, I think that question was asked to her even before then. Right. I guess like her celebrity, along with, it's not just her celebrity, because when we talk about celebrities, like sometimes it's just in reference to how the audience receives them. But Oprah is well received by other celebrities. Yes. So I think that's why the question was brought up before. But this time, it wasn't really officially brought up. It was just some sources close to her, unnamed sources, something about a presidential run, and everybody just freaked the fuck out.
So as of right now, okay, so it's Tuesday, January 9th. As of right now, she has not said that, yes, I'm seriously entertaining it. It's just, like I said, these reports that are citing unnamed sources. Now, her friend, Gayle King, has said that, I think she has said she should consider it. I don't think she said that she is considering it. And even if she, and there's more, even if she said that she did, it still is. It's still not coming from Oprah at this point.
And there's more. It's probably the speculation has increased about her possible run for president even more because she sold a majority interest in her network owned to Discovery Communications. So a lot of people point to that as being a sign that she's trying to set something up. I don't know.
We don't know.
No one knows.
Yeah, we don't know that at this point. What I guess we want to talk about is the reaction to the news that she could be running for president in 2020. So obviously she would be running as a Democrat, right? So we've seen two extremes, really. We've seen two absolute extremes. We've seen people on one side saying that, oh my gosh, Oprah running for president. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, she definitely should do it. She'll be an excellent president.
She's an inspiration to everybody.
Yeah. So that's one extreme. The other extreme we have seen is that Oprah's part of the deep state.
She's a billionaire. She's part of the billionaire class. That automatically disqualifies her. Right. And look at who she hobnobs around.
Exactly. She'll be a horrible president. We don't want her. We don't want nothing to do with her. We want to distance ourselves from Oprah completely.
And how can liberals, you know, get on the case of Donald Trump and those that support him, you know, I guess mocking the fact that he's a reality TV star that has no government experience. Now liberals are fine and dandy with one of their own. I'm like, I've seen stuff like that. Like, that's paraphrased, but that's some of the posts I've seen. I'm like, okay, that's reductionist. That's just reductionism. Like, we can have two separate conversations about whether Oprah like is presidential or not. Like, because technically, like, I haven't really even heard anyone say anything about her actual politics. I mean, everything is politics, but I guess when people say politics, you know, it kind of gets compressed into things like, you know, taxes, education, healthcare, foreign policy. So do we really have a running knowledge or running understanding of that coming from Oprah?
And see, that's the point here, because I don't think she has shared any of that before. Now, you could say that Oprah's a humanitarian. You could say that she has fought for charitable causes before. She has put her money where her mouth is.
She's shared the story. She's shared the stories and the experiences of those in what you would call like a lesser or lower position than herself. Right. You know what I'm saying? So other than like what people see of her on TV, like what do you really know about Oprah other than her support for Barack Obama and her support for Hillary Clinton? Right. And maybe that's the case. Maybe that there's this,
that could be the case.
That there could be a case where there's an association. Like maybe you've internalized that association and now it's suggesting that she could be president. You are automatically triggered by it because this association you've already stored. You already have like a disdain because of who she associated with. To me, she's politically bland.
So
she's politically bland to me personally. She's not like to me she doesn't like separate herself and how she I guess how she involves herself in politics. To me, she doesn't really separate herself much like anyone else.
Well, because she hasn't been a politician. And like I said, we can't say for sure at this moment in time what specifically her politics would be if she did run for office. Like, would she be more of a Clinton politician? Would she be you know, Cory Booker or Harris or I mean, a Bernie Sanders. We don't exactly know at this point.
Warren, like, so there's no way to know. So
at this point, we don't know. So that's why, like, in this whole story, this issue that has been brought to everybody's attention now, I'm in the middle. I'm playing the middle because I'm not on either extreme. I don't feel like I want to distance myself completely from her, and I don't feel like I'm excited about it. I'm absolutely not excited about Oprah because what I know of her is only really of her, the connections that she has made, like I said, with Obama and the Clintons. If that is indicative of who or what type of politician she's going to be, of course, I'm not excited about that at all. But I have to realize that at this point, I can't be for sure. There's no way that I can be for sure what type of politician she would be. I think at this point, I'm just sure she would run as a Democrat.
Yeah, and I think the reason, and maybe the reason why someone delivering a good speech, which honestly, like, I question whether that is what is the actual spark to this conversation. Because, like, nothing about her has changed, like, at all. She was the same person 4 days ago that she was before, like, after she made the speech.
Right.
So my thing is, I gotta call your boy out. You know what I'm gonna say, because we have a friend of ours. She might be watching now, but she unfollowed Sean King.
Oh yeah.
Because of this, and Sean King kind of was like, you know, Oprah 2020. There was another
on Facebook.
Facebook that he made. I can't remember what it said, but one of the main ones said like Oprah 2020, and I was thinking, wait a second, Sean, I love you, bro. I love him. Like, this mug has been through a lot as a person. You can read his story, and he has contributed a lot to activism and like organizing and stuff, and going to bat for a lot of people. So I don't want to take that away from him. But my thing is, like, how come it wasn't Oprah 2020 a month ago? Or Oprah 2020 a year ago? Like, there's nothing about her that changed because of that speech. So why is it all of a sudden,
the only thing that happened was the speech.
So why is it all of a sudden Oprah 2020?
Was that a presidential speech?
No.
Was it like you said, anything could be politics, but was it really, like, would you consider it a political speech?
Yes, but okay, you're saying political in like the context of those things we mentioned,
right? No, it wasn't. It was more social. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a, like I said, I can't dress it up as a political speech. So, like you said, the only thing that changed from the day before the Golden Globes to now is that one speech that Oprah Winfrey gave. And we said that, yeah, it was inspirational. It was uplifting, just judging it by the merits of the words that she used. But how do you use that speech to say whether or not she would be a good president or not?
And maybe the reason why we're even having this conversation is not even about Oprah. It's about the fact that there is a celebrity in the White House now.
Yeah.
Would that even be like,
yeah, would we be going here?
Would we going here in the first place if there wasn't a celebrity like inside the White House? And I do think it's a little narrow-minded to just, like, I guess, put Oprah just in the celebrity category, when I think that's I guess that's reducing her, you know, a bit. Like, you still can't, like, ignore who she is as a human. You know what I'm saying? And the things that she does. Like, yeah, she's a billionaire, and with that comes a circle of people. And a lot of people in that circle are probably, you know, I guess, not too respected. You know, especially in progressive circles and liberal circles or whatever. Like, they showed pictures of her and Harvey Weinstein, which to me means absolutely nothing. He was a Hollywood mogul. He took a picture with millions of people. And I've seen comments talking about, oh, she got up there talking about Me Too and women and this, and she took a picture with Harvey Weinstein. That means she's complicit. She was an enabler. I'm like, she took a damn picture.
Now, see, I will not hit her on that Harvey Weinstein picture. Like, I don't think that's appropriate at all, because, like you said, many people took pictures with Harvey Weinstein, and they weren't complicit in his activities. Now, the one thing where she could be criticized on is Juanita Broaddrick. Okay,
right.
So Juanita Broaddrick as most people probably understand, she claimed that Bill Clinton, in 1978, during his campaign for governor of Arkansas, she claimed that he raped her. Now, she said that she had brought this to Oprah Winfrey's attention. Oprah Winfrey never said not two words about it. She never said anything about it. Now, we understand, too, that Oprah Winfrey seems to be friendly with the Clintons, and she has backed the Clintons for office as well. So she put herself in, with this speech, she definitely put herself out there front and center as it relates to this Me Too campaign, and trying to see that this country is on the horizon of a new day. So if you understand that, but then say, well, hey, she didn't say anything about Juanita Broaddrick, and it looks like she kind of just enabled the Clintons to do what they did, well, then, yeah, she can be criticized for that. That's one thing that I can say that she deserves the criticism.
And I think that's a good point to make, because it kind of shows the relationship between like people's personal opinions and personal virtue, and how that conflicts with them as a business person.
Right.
Because I think that's the one side of it. Maybe even Oprah herself probably, I guess, consciously doesn't actually want to deal with, because when those two things come together, there's going to be conflict. Right. She is a you got to make a choice. You have to make a choice. She is a billionaire, so again, she has to surround herself with those individuals that come in conflict with her personal virtues. I'm not so sure she's ready to do that yet, and I just think that naturally, when you engage in business, in the business that Oprah does, I think as a consequence, it will put you out of touch, regardless of what you went through before to get to the place you are now, and regardless of stories you highlight of people who are in lesser positions of you. I just think it doesn't take a horrible person or a bad person. Doesn't mean she's like ethically deficient. It just means that's the natural course that things take when you enter a business like she does, the entertainment industry. I think it's unavoidable that those two worlds will come in conflict. One thing I will give her credit for is, I guess, and to me, this is something that we all should be doing, is I guess giving a platform to people that have, I guess, some qualities that we value, giving them a platform that they wouldn't have if it wasn't for you, using your influence to put other people on. That's what she does. I commend her for that. I may not agree with some of the people she put on, like Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz. I may not agree with them, but essentially I think that's what we all should be doing. I mean, she has given people a voice that didn't have one. I think that should be commended. That is a quality, a human trait that's pretty good to have. But do I think that somehow that can automatically translate to her being a good president? Now, I wish individuals who are career politicians, who are responsible for constructing legislation, I wish they had that quality and that character trait to go along with their political acumen. But I just don't think I think she's out of touch. Me personally, I think she's too far removed from those experiences she highlighted and talks about, whether it be in that speech or from day to day, like back in the day on Oprah, or even on the OWN network. I just think she's too far removed from that to actually have like an actual impact. You know what I'm saying? Realistically.
So let's talk about if this could actually happen, though. Okay, Oprah on the Democratic ticket, Oprah as the Democratic nominee in 2020. Could it actually happen? Yeah, I think it actually could happen. If she actually wants to step into the political arena and she wants to run, I definitely believe that she could become the Democratic nominee, because think about what the Democratic Party wants. Democratic Party wants energy. They want energy. They want new life. They want something significant. They want to energize the base. They want to energize progressives. They want to energize independents. I mean, independents. And Oprah would definitely get that done.
So, okay. I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, and one other thing, she would definitely be more interesting than, let's say, your establishment type Dems.
Any of them.
Yeah, Kamala Harris,
Cory Booker,
Kirsten Gillibrand. Anybody else you can throw out there. Warren, yeah, anybody else.
Brazil,
yeah, she's completely more interesting than any of them.
And if any of them were introduced as a possible candidate, they'd be tainted, with like Hillary juice, and
no doubt
that DNC stench.
Yes,
they'd be tainted with that. And I think Democrats are out of touch. But they ain't dumb.
No, they ain't dumb.
They ain't dumb.
Exactly. Now, this is another thing. I think it's very possible that she would crush whatever wave is, I guess, recycled if Bernie Sanders runs again in 2020. I think that she actually could get that done.
Because an establishment politician can't do that. Not with the wave he's running now, and not with the failure of the Democratic Party's queen candidate.
Right.
If she lost in the general election, especially and also with all the stuff that went down in the DNC, I just don't. It would be hard for them to recover, especially after only 4 years. So yeah, I think you're right. They would have to kind of put somebody up there that has just energy by itself, because that's really all it is.
That's all it.
That's all
man,
it takes.
How many times do we talk about politics, right? And we have to admit to ourselves that politics is much about popularity
and what kind of energy people bring.
Exactly. And
you know,
like it or not, she's gonna bring that.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what she's about.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know she could bring it. All she would have to do is just like use kind of the same like I guess rhetoric, use the same terms or similar, and just kind of like switch it over to politics.
No doubt.
You get Social Security. You get Social Security.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
Adopt some of the ideas that Bernie Sanders has.
You get single payer.
Put in that Oprah spin. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And I'm sure.
Well,
I'm sure she would be supported.
But see, I don't know about the other side of that though. It's like, how would that work in like foreign policy and war? You get a drone, and you get a drone, and you. I mean, that's not gonna translate.
No, that's not. But you know. Again, is she, would she be worse than Kamala Harris? Would she be worse than a Cory Booker?
I would think they would pair her with one of those.
Yeah, you would think so.
I would think they would pair her with one of those.
Look, I'm at this point, I'm just saying that I'm definitely not excited about the potential of an Oprah bid, an Oprah Democratic bid for president. I'm not excited about it at all. I don't know what her politics are. I don't think any of us can really say for a fact that we actually know who she would be as a politician. So at this point, like I said, I'm just like, yeah, Oprah. Okay, we'll see what happens.
I know it's, to me, I guess I'm to this point. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm to this point, but I just don't see the excitement. No, I don't see the excitement either way.
Yeah, or the disgust or the excitement.
I don't see the disgust, nor I don't see the promotion side of it. I'm not on either side.
It doesn't make any sense either way.
I just don't think people should be like. Honestly, I think everybody blew up. I think everybody blew it up more so than what it was supposed to be.
Right.
Honestly,
I think so.
You know what I'm saying? I just don't, because I just don't really think the idea had been pushed enough for people to freak out about it. In my opinion, freak out on either side. It's a simple answer for me. Is just like, I'm not taking it seriously.
I feel the same way about Oprah Winfrey as I did last week. It's no difference.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I don't feel any different.
Because nothing changed.
She made a speech.
Again, like there's nothing within that speech that I haven't seen from her in the past decade, 2 decades, just in general. That's Oprah. Like,
yeah, but if she was bringing something new to the table, if this was actually something she was bringing forward that could be described like as a political speech. If she was talking about healthcare, if she was talking about foreign policy, you know, if she was talking about education. I mean, if she was talking about these different policy ideas that she was having, then that would give us something to chew on and be like, okay, well, hold on. Okay, let's examine what she said. And this actually looks like she's actually thinking about it.
I mean, if she would have like taken whatever speech that speech she made, or that speech she gave, and then segued into something more politically insightful, it may have changed things. But like you said, she's the same person last week that she is now.
Yo, like I said, yeah. Ho hum. That's how I feel. Ho hum.
Yeah, we got through like 5 live shows without you saying that, though.
Brought it back to life.
Ho hum and greenbacks, though.
That's what it is, man.
I
might bring up greenbacks later in the show.
I've been telling you to be used.
They just present themselves, man. I'll just be like, oh, right there. All right, Facebook. We gotta go. We're gonna continue the rest of the show on YouTube. We'd love for you if you would join us on YouTube. We got the link in the description on Facebook. So if you would just click it, and you'll be taken to the rest of the show. We have a lot more to talk about. We're going to talk about Attorney General Jeff Sessions and the whole marijuana thing. We have to talk about Bernie Sanders and his rich behind.
Yo, his chinchilla coat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They made it like the dude like had a coat made out of
diamonds.
I was about to say baby seals.
What else? Motel 6. There's a lawsuit against Motel 6. And a woman in the state of Nevada. She was finally released from jail after 16 years, almost 16 years, for a crime that she did not commit. So we have a lot more to talk about. Again, we'd love for you to join us, and we'll just see you over there. All right. You know, one other thing about this Oprah thing. One person that praised Oprah's speech was Ivanka Trump. That's a little weird. A little weird for Ivanka Trump to be praising Oprah's speech, because again, it wasn't like a quote political speech. It was more so about, like, the heart of the matter was about the hashtag Me Too, was about women not being victimized by, you know, powerful men and, like I said, abusing their power. Now, last time I checked, Ivanka Trump's daddy, Donald Trump, has been accused of inappropriate behavior,
and actually has been caught on tape talking about his inappropriate behavior.
Yes, this has happened multiple. He's been accused multiple times.
He admitted to this.
Yes,
especially because he ran the Miss Universe joint.
Yep.
So yeah,
he admitted to it. So it seems weird that daughter, who has not said anything about the women that have accused Donald Trump in a sense where she is believing of the women, but she is going to say that, hey, Oprah's speech was magnificent, and I support that. Me too. And I'm like, what? Don't make sense, Ivanka. That doesn't make sense.
Oh, it makes sense if she's just looking at this to, I guess, as an opportunity to gain some political capital.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Because she recognizes,
in that sense, it makes sense.
It's the reason why she's praising Oprah, because she recognizes that she is, I guess, unconditionally connected to her father.
Mm-hmm.
So her doing that had nothing to do with Oprah, had nothing to do with her. It's her trying to, I guess, score some political points for her father.
Mm-hmm.
And almost in a way that, see, I'm standing up for this. So since I'm standing up for this, there's no way that can be an issue that my father suffers, from. There's no way that can be issue with my father. Since
that's always gonna backfire spectacularly, just because everybody at this point knows the allegations into Donald Trump. Everybody knows that. So that Ivanka Trump has never said that, we got to hear these women. Even the women that are accusing my father. But now you want to ride, Oprah speech and be like, me too?
It's a coattail attempt. It's a definite coattail attempt.
It's disgusting. But anyway, let's move on. So let's stay with President Trump. So we know that DACA, back last year, 2017, President Trump ended the DACA protection for some 800,000 individuals that enjoyed that protection so that they were not, scared of being deported. These people are people that came to this country as children, have lived here basically all of their lives, and are gainfully employed, are educated, or in school.
Haven't committed any crimes.
Like I said, these are people,
productive members of society,
upstanding members of society. Okay, so but Donald Trump ended that protection for him, so it's been thrown into this limbo of what's going to happen to him, and we've been talking about this ever since that happened. So on Tuesday, today, Trump met with some lawmakers, and it was, there was press there, and they recorded it, videoed it, and, a lot of people spoke. But Donald Trump said that he wanted a bill. He said that lawmakers should pass a bill, quote, a bill of love, end quote, a bill of love for these DACA individuals, a bill of love. I'm not sure what that, I don't know. I'm not sure what that bill would look like.
Hearts. There's going to be all sorts of appropriations that include like smiley faces,
Hershey's Kisses,
flowers. Inspirational quotes. That's what a bill of love is. Maybe like some lyrics from R&B songs. But that's horrible advice. That's horrible. I mean, it's like that's horrible advice. Like if he's instructing Congress to create legislation or to construct legislation, you can't just say, we need to do something about single payer, or we need to do something about this tax bill, or we need to do something about maybe ending occupation here. I'm not really going to give you advice. I'm not going to give you a template to work from. I'm not going to give you an agenda. What you need to do is just make sure you involve love in the process.
Yeah, insert some love in there.
Insert some love in there.
Yeah, let that guide you.
What does that even mean?
But see, you know what? This is how you know it's full of shit, though, man. Because if he actually was sincere about this bill of love, right? Why isn't this a standalone bill? Why wasn't this taken care of last year before 2017 even ended? If this is solely about protecting these individuals, because like we just said, they're upstanding members of society. You don't want to treat them as some sort of leverage or anything like that. You want to treat this as love. So why wouldn't you just say, let's do this standalone bill where we are just addressing the needs of these people?
So if it was really about love, you're saying that he would kind of stress Congress to ensure that the needs of these people are met. Is that what you're saying?
Without any other kind of precondition.
Without any kind of precondition, without using them as some sort of leverage to, let's say, maybe get a wall built or something.
Exactly. But that's what he does want. He wants a wall built. He said, so he was asked if he would accept a DACA deal without the wall. He said, you need it. I'd love not to build a wall, but you need the wall. I guess the wall is the love. The wall is the love.
You have now You've translated Trump. You the Trump whisperer now, dog. Yo, you the Trump whisperer now, bro. Like man. you just translated. You just we had to break it down.
Exactly, man. So there's a bill that's set to be introduced by House Judiciary Committee Chairman Bob Goodlatte. He's a Republican from Virginia, and Trump said that it's, quote, a good starting point. Now, we don't know what's in this bill; hasn't been released yet, but I can almost guarantee it's gonna have some provisions in it, like a wall, like increased border agents times 2,000. Right, exactly. It's gonna have some kind of provisions where Democrats are gonna be like, no, go back. No, I don't want it. No. So, where's the love? You know, I gotta keep going back. Like, where is the love at? You know. It doesn't seem like they really want, and we talked about this.
It's a way for him to cover up. It's like for a person like Trump, he has to constantly, for a sociopath like Trump, that is trying to insert himself into politics and make himself seem like he's actually a human being. Yeah, he has to diffuse the very quality. Like he has to diffuse, like, I guess, certain negative qualities about himself. You know what I'm saying? He has to diffuse that. And so the way he does that is to say stupid stuff like that, a bill of love. He has to say bill of love because whatever love is, he probably doesn't have it. You know what I'm saying?
Not for these people.
Not for these people. So he has to make himself seem like, whoa, snap, I'm a racist, I'm a sociopath, I don't care about other people. So, but I can't really look like that blatantly. Right. You know what I'm saying? So he has to diffuse all that.
Give some empty words for a bill of love. So, we have to understand that DACA, because of course when he ended the protection, there was some kind of leeway that he gave to Congress to get something done, a 6-month leeway. So it ends on March 5th. So it's totally gone March 5th. Now, also this month, Congress is under pressure to come to agreement on a spending bill because all they did was just kick it down the road, just to kick that can down the road back in December. So the Democrats and Chuck Schumer, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, has said that DACA needs to be tied to the spending bill. And I can surmise that he's saying that because let's say it's not tied to the spending bill. What would bring these Republicans to the table to actually do something about it?
Because there's no leverage.
Exactly.
There's no leverage.
Exactly. Are they just going to be like, oh yeah, we just want to do the right thing? You could have done that months ago, and they haven't done it. So that's why the Democrats want to tie this thing to the spending bill. So, like I said, it's up in the air right now. We'll see what this bill, this new bill that's being introduced by Bob Goodlatte is gonna look like. But like I said, I can just probably guess that there's gonna be a wall, and like you said 2,000 more agents.
Oh, like agents, they could have agents like hanging from the wall waiting. That's what he wants.
They want to end chain migration. They want to end the visa program, the lottery visa program. It's gonna have all these type of provisions in it.
It's crazy. Like if it was really about, like, if it was truly about reducing the number of criminals or reducing the risk, then you wouldn't just do away with these programs. You would just kind of adjust them. You would refine them.
You would.
But see, that's how they talk, though. Like when they talk like that about Social Security too. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we're gonna make some changes when they really just want to, like.
Exactly. All right. Let's get to another division of the administration, the DOJ. So we talked last week about Attorney General Jeff Sessions and how he recently decided to end the Obama era provisions that would not, well, it meant that the federal government would not go after states where marijuana is legal. They wouldn't go after the people that are either using it recreationally or selling it, whatever have you. They weren't, because under the federal government, under federal law, marijuana is still Schedule 1. It's illegal. But under these Obama era rules, they were not going to spend, you know,
they weren't
any kind of time to go after these people.
Yes, like they pretty much left it in the hands of the U.S. attorneys of those states,
right?
Which essentially saves money, in my opinion.
It does. So this decision by Sessions has been highly criticized, and has been criticized by Republicans. We talked about one particular Republican that's in the United States House of Representatives. His name is Dana Rohrabacher, and he characterized Sessions' decision as, quote, attacking the will of the American people and placing Republicans' electoral fortunes in jeopardy. Like I said, because he understood what this kind of decision means. One, the American people are behind it, especially the American people in these states that have legalized it. And two, you're going to put the outcomes of these races in jeopardy, because especially in states where it's legal. And
did you see the long lines? Did you see the long lines at these dispensaries, dude? No, I'm talking about like look like airport security.
Look, man, this is $1 billion business in these states. I mean, I think it's
a $1 billion business on one side,
yeah,
and another business will be losing billions of dollars.
True, very, very, very true. And on multiple ends, multiple levels. Yeah,
at every level there'd be a bunch of people who would lose money, and there would be no need for certain jobs anymore,
because the system is already constructed to perform the way it is right now. You change that up, you legalize marijuana, you're looking at a whole new system. You know, what are you going to jail people for?
Criminal justice industry would be heavily affected.
I mean, a lot of these people too that have been arrested for marijuana, I'm sure many of them have been subject to civil asset forfeiture too.
So again, it's not just connected to, I guess, probable cause in regard to police officers, and I guess via like how these criminals get prosecuted. They go into private prisons. You know what I'm saying? So like at every level, there's going to be people who lose. Private prisons, there's going to be civil asset forfeiture reductions.
DA agents.
Yeah,
on broad levels like that. Yeah, because if it's legal in a state, you're probably going to see less people in the streets. You know, drug dealers. You know, you're probably going to see less of that, right? Anyway, so it's piling up now, people that are against Sessions' decision. And there's another Republican, Senator Cory Gardner, Republican from Colorado. He has threatened to block all nominees to the Justice Department so long as Attorney General Sessions has this position on marijuana. He disagrees with this position, but it's not just that. He said that before Sessions was I guess when he went through the hearings, before he was confirmed as the Attorney General, he talked to him personally, and Sessions told him that he would not crack down on marijuana. And Trump has said the same thing, campaigning. It wasn't something that he was going to go after. That was a state decision. So he withheld his vote on Sessions on his hearing until he got an answer from him. And like I said, the answer that he got from Sessions was, I'm not going to do anything. We're not going to crack down at the federal level on marijuana. So now he's feeling like, hey, you went against your word, you know?
I don't think his word was bond, though. That's the thing. His word was not bond. Definitely not. I think he went in. There's no way he's going to answer yes to that. He is not going to answer yes to that. That his intention is to do if his intention was to do the opposite. He was not going to answer that question with, "Oh yeah, we're about to crack down like a mug." He wanted
to get through that confirmation.
He wanted to get through that confirmation hearing.
So Gardner said, this is a quote from Gardner. He said, "I'm prepared to hold every Justice Department nominee until Jeff Sessions lives up to what he told me, lives up to his commitment." He also said, "Jeff Sessions told me this wouldn't be a priority. Jeff Sessions told me the policy would not be reversed. And today, Jeff Sessions went back on his word." So, It could, I don't know. This is just one Republican. This is just one senator. So right now, he's just one Republican senator. So as it relates to holding up confirmation hearings.
And where is he from?
He's from Colorado.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It makes sense. I'm just saying, like, him alone, holding up any appointments to the Justice Department, him as a lone voice, it doesn't mean anything. But if others start to, signal their intention to have the same position and say, Jeff Sessions, this is ridiculous. You don't need to have this position, especially when Trump doesn't even have this position. So why are you going against even your own president? Doesn't make sense.
Oh, it makes sense because the president is not pulling the strings. Yeah. You would think that this kind of legalizing marijuana would kind of offer a very viable business opportunity for a lot of people, and that's what these Republicans claim that they're about, right? The free market, stimulating the economy. Legalizing marijuana would do that. So all this to me indicates that there's a tug of war right now between a potential industry and the other industry that's very active, and that's the prohibition industry. You see what I'm saying? That there's a tug of war right now. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of business interest in keeping it illegal.
Oh yeah, we know that to be true, but people like Jeff Sessions, back in, I believe it was November, you remember he said something like, good people don't do marijuana, right? He said something, I don't know his exact word, but that's what he said. Good people don't do marijuana. And so I'm left to say, okay, well, hold on. So if good people don't do marijuana, what are you saying about tobacco? What are you saying about alcohol? That's why there's. I mean, I think it's easy to just say, oh, he's just being an old fashioned old dude. He's just being. Got to be something else there. Yeah, right? It's like, oh, he's just stuck in some sort of moral trap. No. Oh, he doesn't really understand marijuana. I was like, that would be given. No, to me that'd be too simple. It's way more than that, man. He understands exactly why he made this decision. There's something behind it, and like we say it all the time, you legalize marijuana, you're going to be taking that profit away from different areas. We just laid them out: the private prison industry, agents, DEA agents, police officers, and like you said, civil asset forfeiture because they use marijuana to create probable cause. I remember one case a few years back where they found some marijuana in this, they searched the house. It wasn't his house. The kid was like 18, 17, 18, maybe 19, I don't know. They found the marijuana in his room. And I guess they found enough in there to claim that he had intent to distribute. It was his parents' house. He was just staying there. Do you know they wanted to seize the house? They wanted to seize the house, yo. And another thing that I know that you brought up too is that depending on the situation, this could lead to a felony charge, right? So if that leads to a felony charge, when they lose their right to vote. Exactly. They lose their right to vote. And where is there a disproportionate number of police officers roaming around? Would that be in Black and Latino neighborhoods? Yeah. Because see, their whole voter fraud accusations aren't holding water, and there's a lot of crackdown going on right now because the Trump administration is trying to kind of push this whole voter fraud narrative to disenfranchise people, and it's not working. So they kind of have to go another route. Yep. You know what I'm saying? They have to continue the war on drugs in order to disenfranchise people. They got to keep selling that the war on drugs has to be maintained. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if any more Republicans actually have the guts. Yeah, the guts to actually come out and say something against Jeff Sessions. Because again, at least in the public eye, at least out there to where we know, like what we know of their words, this is directly opposed to what Donald Trump has said. So I don't know. This isn't the end of the story, so we'll see what happens. I want to go, man. Let's see. Let's go to Bernie Sanders, man. Let's go to Bernie Sanders. So there's an article in Newsweek, and it was written by a woman named Maria Perez. The title of this article is "Socialist Bernie Sanders Wears a $700 Jacket While Complaining About Rich People." Okay.
And that's pretty much the gist of the article.
Yeah, you really didn't even have to read it.
You didn't have to read past that.
Exactly.
All the other stuff was just like filler.
Yeah, it
was just like cream. It was just like it's like no.
Yeah, so I mean, we got a quote here, but yeah. So really, what she was trying to, I guess, project is the idea that Bernie Sanders. You see that she used the word socialist. Bernie Sanders has been this advocate for the poor, for the needy. But here he is wearing a $700 jacket. So it was at Mayor Bill de Blasio swearing in ceremony in New York. And this is one of the paragraphs from this article. She said, "The socialist was cozy and warm in a $690 Burden 2L LZ down jacket as de Blasio was assuming office for the second time in a row during the frigid temperatures at City Hall. Sanders, 76, joked, saying of the weather, 'By Vermont standards, this is a warm and pleasant afternoon.'" So yeah, so the jacket was $690 according to her. I didn't look it up, but according to her, it was a $690 jacket, and it was on the back of Bernie Sanders, the socialist that advocates for people in need, poor people, the one that goes against billionaires, always talks about billionaires and how they need to pay their fair share. Look at this man wearing this expensive coat proudly.
I don't believe Perez is that dense. There's no way someone...
I don't know.
I don't believe they're that dense. I know there's some dense people out there.
Yeah.
But either you are completely dense and have no clue of what Bernie Sanders' view of socialism is, or you're just being a complete hack. I think it's the complete hack.
Yeah, I think it's the latter. I think she's being a complete hack.
I think you're being a complete hack. I just don't think a journalist could even be this dumb.
No. And later on in the article, she said about the jacket, said, "But that jacket Sanders wore was pretty pricey, despite his plight to fight against the wealthy." Sanders' June financial disclosure form stated that he earned more than $858,000 in book royalties alone. In addition to his Senate salary of $174,000, Sanders is part of the top 1% nationally.
Oh, wait a second. Oh, so her, I guess her false premise is that he's against wealth. Mm-hmm. That's not what he's against.
No, he's not.
He's against a political system that favors the wealthy.
He's against the system where the wealthy can take advantage of the system.
Yes. What he say is like legalized corruption. Yes. That's what he says. That's what he says.
And it's harmful to the people that are in need.
How wealth is distributed.
Right. So he's not against people that have wealth. And people that earn a high income.
And there's this, again, this false notion that someone who is, I guess, higher up on the economic scale can't advocate for those on the lower economic scale.
Mm-hmm. Which is false.
It's
just false. Like, okay, if I was to come into just a whirlwind of money, I mean, just a sudden rainfall just hit me, I'm part of the 1% now. Does that mean my position changes? Does that mean that now my voice is irrelevant?
Actually, I would have to commend you more.
You would have to commend, and actually, if I do have this newfound wealth, couldn't I spread my position more readily? Couldn't I invite more people in to be influenced by me talking about advocating for people in need?
And it would make that that advocacy...
I have a bigger microphone.
Yeah, right? And it would make that like advocacy seem more honest, because you yourself are going to be affected by your own politics.
Right. Negatively, really.
Negatively, financially.
Right.
But again, the whole premise that Bernie Sanders pushes as far as his political agenda is that the 1% utilize public services more so than anybody else. They benefit from the public services more so than anybody else. The legislation that's written is written in their favor. So they benefit from how laws are written. They benefit from this system. So I guess his idea is that they should have to contribute more to it since they are benefiting from it. Like, for instance, who uses roads more? Does it UPS and FedEx and DHL and Maersk and whoever else? All these shipping companies, they use the roads more than any individual American, especially, let's say, poor folks who may not even use roads at all. So they actually use the infrastructure that public money built more so than anybody else. And like I said, they get the benefit of getting favors done for them so that they can attain all this wealth. They're not doing it just up on their own. They're not allowed to just roll over all this money, just constantly keep folding all this money on stacks without help from those in Congress. They're benefiting from it. So yeah, they should have to give more back.
I never heard Bernie Sanders saying that Wall Street should not exist.
Yeah.
He didn't say they should not exist. Like, they should not be paid for the work that they do. It's about the system that's in place that has corrupted. Well, I mean, it's built to be corrupted. It's not actually corrupted. It works.
It's worked perfectly.
Yeah, it works perfectly.
Yeah. Well-oiled machine.
Yeah. But again, he's not against wealth. Like this phone I have, got an iPhone, right? This is damn near what, $1,000 or so? But interesting thing, I have like a payment plan. Right, that's interesting. So I have a payment plan. It's about 2 years, right?
Yeah, I don't think people understand that is actually paying for the phone. That's not that's actually not just a service.
It's paying for the phone. Yeah. So this is damn near $1,000, right? So I'm not rich by any stretch of the imagination. This phone seems like this phone costs more than Bernie Sanders' jacket. Now, if I even have a credit card that has enough of a limit, enough that's available in the balance, I can purchase that same jacket as well. Again, I'm not rich. I'm not making 100 grand.
But the thing is, you're paying for it.
Yeah, I'm still paying for it.
It's not like you're still paying for it. That's not what socialism is. It's not like you get a phone and you get a phone and you get a phone.
No, it isn't.
Oh yeah, and
oh yeah.
What's some more information about this jacket?
So this jacket, this almost $700 coat that Bernie Sanders was wearing, turns out that he didn't buy it for himself. Turns out that it was his son that bought it for him. Turns out that his son works at the store
that sells the jacket.
Sells the jacket?
So most likely, your boy got a discount.
Probably got a good discount. Yeah, an employee discount. Those are pretty good, no matter where you are. I mean, employee discounts are probably pretty good.
Bernie Sanders benefiting from his son's employee discount. Man, that sure dismantles his entire political agenda.
You know, man, look, even if he hadn't had the discount, let's say he just took his own money and spent it on a coat. I remember there were some reports where they just bought some property. They bought a home or something, like $600,000 home or something like that. Man, do you, bro? Like, like, if you want to spend your money on whatever, if you want to get a boat, if you want to get a nice painting, go on vacation, this is your money that you're making. I'm not going to begrudge you for spending it at all.
But I guarantee you, Bernie Sanders would be like, you know, whatever money I do spend, I would hope And actually, no, not that he hopes. He actually promotes this, that the money that we do spend, not just him, goes back into the hands of the people that need it and deserve it. That's why he advocates for increased minimum wage.
Right.
If that actually happened, yeah, exactly. Tax. If that actually happened, whatever money he spends or we spend would contribute to that.
Yeah, contribute to the economy. Yeah, build a bigger, more robust middle class.
But nah, his $700 jacket is preventing that from happening.
Man, I tried to see some more articles from this author, this Maria Perez. I didn't see the one article I saw about Bernie Sanders was about Howard Dean saying that old people should get out of politics. You know, my generation should get out of politics. I didn't see anything else as it relates to Bernie Sanders, and I was looking for anything that she may have said about Hillary Clinton, because this just strikes me as somebody that was probably pretty supportive of Hillary Clinton back in 2016, calling him a socialist, saying, promoting the idea that since he's a socialist and rails against billionaires, that he can't spend his money. It seems like somebody that's a little probably got their feelings hurt during the 2016 campaign.
No, this seems like some leftover whimper.
Yeah,
this seems like some leftover whimper. There's no reason to be this like desperate and pathetic. This is some reaching. This is some serious reaching. They're reaching for the moon.
Yeah, man. It's sad. It's sad. It's weak too, man.
Weak, and it's like, get over it.
Yeah, it's 2018.
You're talking about a jacket again. They make it sound like it was like made out of baby seals. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I would have thought.
Yeah, man. I don't get it, man.
Like Bernie Sanders clubs baby seals and makes a jacket out of it. Like for real.
All right, so we're gonna get to what's going on with Motel 6, the national hotel chain. So on January 3rd, the Office of the Attorney General of Washington State put out a press release, and Attorney General Bob Ferguson revealed that there was a lawsuit against Motel 6, and this lawsuit was because Motel 6 had been given their hotel guest list to ICE agents, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, willingly just giving out these hotel guest lists to ICE agents.
Their like information and stuff like
that.
Yeah,
their personal information. Every time that they gave these lists out, it was personal information. Information like date of birth, name, license plate numbers, driver's license numbers, guest room numbers, guest identification numbers. All that information was given out, and this had been routinely done for at least 2 years. 2 years this has been going on. Okay, so the whole reason I guess this was unearthed was because of a separate state that this was happening in. This was happening in Arizona, and that made somewhat, I didn't hear about it, but it made, according to this press release, it made national news. And so Bob Ferguson said, this is a quote from Bob Ferguson, and I think we have that here. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So he said, after news reports in Arizona revealed Motel 6 staff was handing over guests' private information, Motel 6 implied this was a local problem. We have found that is not true. Washingtonians have a right to privacy and protection from discrimination. I will hold Motel 6 accountable and uncover the whole story of their disturbing conduct.
So do you really think that if, well, number one, do you think these ICE agencies approach Motel 6, or do you think Motel 6 approach this government agency?
I think the government approached Motel 6.
Like, you gonna hand this over, and if that's the case, you know good and well it wasn't just like, yeah, we're just gonna focus on this one Motel 6 over here in this one state.
No,
you know good and well it's probably all the damn Motel 6s along the border.
Now, again, this happened in Arizona. Well, we don't know at first, but I guess the first documented case was in Arizona, and now in Washington they're seeing that this is relevant there. It's in this press release. It said that 4 of these locations, these Motel 6 locations in Washington, they released the personal information of at least 9,151 guests. Over 9,000 guests they provided information on. And this resulted in at least 6 arrests, I believe. 6 detainments. Well, yeah, I can't say arrest specifically, but they detained at least 6 people because of this. So, this is a problem for, well, a number of reasons, but for 2 main reasons. Motel 6, their privacy policy assured consumers that it would protect their personal information. Obviously, they did not by handing over their personal information to ICE agents. That's 1. 2, the voluntary release of this information constitutes an unfair and deceptive business practice and violates the Consumer Protection Act.
They say, yeah, because not only does it go against their own policy, it's not something that they disclose.
Yes.
That they do.
No, they did not disclose that. Actually, they said that they would not do that. Okay. So there's another part of this as well, of course, and that's the discrimination factor. The Attorney General, Bob Ferguson, he asserts that Motel 6 knew that these ICE agents used as guest lists to target Latino sounding names. So that, you know, they would get these guest lists, they, you know, kind of pilfer through it and be like, oh, Lopez maybe? Okay, let's go to their room. Let's see who this is. Let's see if they have some, you know, legitimate identification.
They're skipping Gardner.
Oh, Smith,
yeah.
Webb. Oh, yeah, they're skipping all of that. They're looking for Latino sounding names. So
Diaz.
So that would be against... that, like I said, that would be discrimination, and that would be a violation of the Washington law against discrimination. So, as you said, you highly doubt that this is just a problem that is going on. Yeah, an isolated problem
locally, like they said,
Arizona, and okay, maybe they just lucked up and they found what's going on in Washington. So this is, like I said, this is just, you know, in 2 states. That's it, right?
Those 2 states are very far apart.
Very far apart.
Very far apart.
Very far apart. Now, Motel 6, across this whole country, they have more than 1,200 locations.
And I'm pretty sure it's not just Motel 6, too.
You think they would just approach...
One motel. They're
not the only cheap motel.
They're not exactly
in this country.
They're probably,
that's a national chain.
That's a national... La Quinta? We know about La Quinta.
About La Quinta. Yeah. I mean, Nights Inn. You know what I mean? There's a lot of cheap ones out there that people would stay at. You know, maybe they, you know, with you can get away with, you know, a fake ID maybe or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, but like I said,
people are more, I guess, I think
you would think like, I mean, like if somebody's sketchy, you know, that doesn't have I guess valid credentials, you would think they would probably go to somewhere that's cheap.
Yeah,
you would think that.
In most of these places, you require like ID,
right, to
even rent a room.
Right.
It's not like, yo, here's some money, cash under the table. I'm pretty sure there's some places like that, but a lot of places aren't run like that.
True. So this is interesting because, you know, when we were first reading about this story, I was saying, okay, hold on. So you're telling me the government is going after a hotel for giving information
that most likely another branch of government requested.
Yeah.
And you know good and here's my thing, like the motel's probably under a lot of pressure. Probably. I don't think that they would violate their own terms of service just because. There had to be under some kind of pressure to do it.
So is that going to come out because of this lawsuit?
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Because they have to present everything. I can't guarantee it, but I'm pretty sure they were under some kind of pressure to do it.
Unless we find out that like Joe Arpaio has some stake in Motel 6.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I mean, like, for this to just organically happen, like these. I don't think that's. I don't think that's true.
Like this, like
it doesn't make.
Oh,
it wouldn't make sense.
You mean like the CEO of Motel 6 came to the government? Is like, hey, we know there's an immigration problem.
Exactly.
Right? Like, how can we help y'all out?
Yeah,
no.
We're gonna give you our guest list. Hey, we want to just be helpful and come forward. I don't think that happened. Like I said, yeah, this looks like the government approached the chain and was like, look, we need some help. We're trying to combat this problem.
Maybe there was some threats.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you don't, you might face X, Y, or Z.
Exactly. So again, now that there's a lawsuit,
your business license may be
we're gonna make it difficult for you. In some way, it would seem like there was some kind of threat. Was it substantiated or what? I don't know.
And see, my problem with it is, it's like you gave statistics on the yield, right? And I'm concerned with that, but I'm also concerned with is there a guarantee that these agents, right, and these agents that are seeking this information are not going to continue to, let's say, track certain people, even if they don't find anything on them. Their status is legal, but since they have a certain last name, maybe they can be led to other people. Yeah. They know some people.
He's here illegally.
Yeah,
or what?
I personally have my imagination has got the best of me as an agent, and I have some certain suspicions. So I'm gonna follow these people, even though I don't see anything immediately that points to anything, about them. It's like,
what are they gonna just get rid of the information?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I just think there's a high potential for people to be harassed.
Yes, it, man. It, no doubt, man. So again, hopefully with this lawsuit, more details come forward, and more details come forward specifically about ICE and. Because
if there's was there any strong arming going on?
All wisdom would tell you that this was a government initiative and they approached Motel 6 about this. So I hope that does come out. But yeah, it's just kind of strange that the government is, I guess, really, they're going after the government. Really, the government is going after the government in this case. That's interesting.
It's funny because what's their little slogan, their motto? We'll leave the light on for you.
We'll leave the light.
That has a whole new meaning now, dog.
It does, man. Yeah. All right, so let's get to this case. Okay, so a woman by the name of Kristen Lobato was convicted twice of the murder of a 44-year-old homeless man by the name of Duran Bailey. Now, Bailey's body was found brutalized and mutilated, and it was found on behind a dumpster near the Las Vegas Strip, July 8, 2001. So this is almost 17 years ago.
Covered in trash.
Yeah, it was covered in trash.
There's all kind of stuff done, like penis cut off.
Yeah, so his face was absolutely pummeled. His eyes were bloody. His eyes were swollen shut. Teeth were knocked out. I think there were 6 different teeth that were just scattered. His rectum had been stabbed.
Yeah.
And like you said, his penis was actually severed, and it was found
somewhere
among the trash. Among the trash at this location. So like I said, he was beaten really badly. He was stabbed multiple times, and his genitalia was mutilated. Also his carotid artery was slit as well too. So like I said, this was
torture.
This was a severe beating. This was a savage attack. So the police investigated the scene. There was a lot of evidence there. They actually even collected some semen that was there as well. So there was a lot of evidence to process, but the evidence got them nowhere.
The evidence got them nowhere. The leads that they did have were dead end leads.
Yeah, they kind of, I guess, dried up.
They dried up.
They were operating, and like I say, it wasn't really leading them, into anything that meant anything. So that's when on July 20th, this was what, about 12 days later or so, they got a call from a woman named Laura Johnson. Now, Laura Johnson, she worked as a juvenile probation officer in Lincoln County. She called them because she had heard something that was being said. Okay, she heard through the grapevine that a friend of hers named Dixie, she mentioned that a former student of hers named Kristen was saying that she had mutilated somebody, that she had cut some homeless person's penis off. So because of that story that she heard from her friend Dixie, she called the police and told them that story.
Third hand.
A third-hand story.
Not second-hand story.
Not second-hand story. A third-hand story. Okay. So the police immediately, they go interview this woman, Laura Johnson, about this story. So they talk about it. They get her story. You know, they write it down, get all the details. Third-hand story. They never interview Dixie. They never interviewed Dixie about what she heard Kristen say. They took this information from Laura and go to the home of Kristen Lobato. So while at the home of Kristen Lobato, they say something like, "Well, we know you did something." Like, what they say?
No, you mutilated. We know you. Yeah, we know you did something.
Yeah, like there was some kind of assault or something that, right? And so because of the things that she said during that interrogation, they arrested her. Now, she had said something like she was attacked or something like that. But this had happened. I think the way she was saying it happened in a motel parking lot, not at the scene where this took place.
Most like an unrelated situation. Like she was the victim.
Yes, and I believe that she stated that it happened like a month before as well.
Mm-hmm. So, but even though that information that she gave, like willingly, contradicted the timeline of this murder,
didn't match up at all.
They still somehow thought that this was their person.
Yes, and they arrested her just based on these statements. That's it. They had no evidence. They had absolutely no evidence tying her to the scene of the crime. Scene of the crime.
She had an alibi.
She had an alibi for the time of the crime. She said she was at home with her parents. She was 18 years old at this time. Okay. Also, obviously, this woman was not responsible for the semen that was left at the scene of the crime as well. Obviously.
And if you just kind of look at the brutality of the body, and I'm not putting it past a woman to do all this, but it's probably highly unlikely if you look at like the size of Lobato.
Right. Like she was a petite, young woman at the time. Doesn't seem, like you said, you can't be sure, but it doesn't seem
most likely. If I'm an investigator, I'm like
something is off here. It doesn't like these two parts aren't fitting together. Anyway, so they arrested her, and like I said, she was twice convicted of this crime. The state's theory of the crime was that Lobato had been in the city during the early morning hours of July 8th, killing Bailey before setting off in her old Pontiac Fiero for the long drive up the unlit mountainous highway, making it home in time to get cleaned up before being seen around the neighborhood later that morning. Now that's from The Intercept. So like I said, Lobato said at the time of the crime she was at home, but the prosecution made it seem like no, actually the time of the crime was in the early morning hours. So the people that were providing her
cover,
providing her cover, well, actually you don't, they mean nothing here because they didn't see her at the time that this actually took place. So again, with this limited evidence, she was twice convicted of this crime, and she had been in jail for, like I said, since 2001.
17 years?
Almost 17 years. Almost 17 years. Okay. So the Innocence Project took this case on, and they started investigating, and gathering evidence. And it was in October when the state's narrative of the crime fell apart. So again, this is from The Intercept, and it says the Innocence Project presented nearly a week's worth of testimony from several renowned entomologists and a medical examiner, each of whom demonstrated why the state's narrative never made any scientific sense. In short, had Bailey been slaughtered in the pre-dawn hours and his body left outside all day in the summer heat, as the state claimed, blowflies, nature's swift and ubiquitous first responders to scenes of death, would have quickly colonized his remains, leaving visible clusters of eggs and various wounds.
So a team from the Innocence Project presented a week's worth of evidence and poked gaping holes in the case?
Yes. Now, what was the state's response?
Well, after the Innocence Project showed how unscientific the state's case was,
right,
the prosecutors responded with, I can't remember the exact words, but the head prosecutor said something about the flies in Las Vegas do not behave like the flies of the rest of this world. They're different. They're unique. The flies here are unique, so they don't do the same thing that the other flies in nature do. So all that decomposition and maggots and all that flies being attracted to body that didn't happen in this one case. This one case that where that usually happens. Like, well, the one case that it should have happened, it didn't happen. Because
there's like a bubble around.
There's a bubble around Las Vegas, not in Nevada.
No, just Las Vegas.
Just Las Vegas. There's like a special breed of fly, special breed of blowfly.
Ridiculous.
That to me is like
you're just like grasping for something now.
That's being willfully unethical. That's being willfully heartless. That's willfully destroying someone's life. At that point, it doesn't become unscientific. Not just unscientific, it becomes like just illogical.
Yes. Especially noting that there was no evidence tying this woman to the crime.
Like, why why are they trying so hard? Why is the state trying so hard?
There's a couple different reasons. We've talked about that in different cases. One, when they've got their person, they're gonna go after them, right? Two, once they get that conviction, we don't want to hear anything more.
We don't want to hear anything else because
the jury convicted. That's it. We don't care if you're innocent.
So it doesn't matter if someone's life is at stake or not. Their ego and their careers mean more because once they admit that we made a mistake. See, I don't think it was a mistake.
No, it wasn't a mistake.
I think once we admit that, hey, we railroaded this person, then all the other cases may come into question.
Right. But and another thing is what you've talked about too, their resume.
Their resume. They got to show that they're tough on crime. You have a brutal murder, and you want to, I guess, calm any nerves in the city, in the community. Right. And so you want to be that one to do that. You want to be that one to say, yo, we caught this heinous murderer. We caught this disgusting person. We caught this person, and now like everyone's going to be safe. They all want to be that person. They all want to be a part of that. You see what I'm saying? So it's all about personal gain.
I wonder.
So someone's life doesn't even matter.
But I wonder, okay, because like I said, obviously, she was not the producer of the semen that was left at the scene. So I wonder
if they ran that.
Yeah, like at the trial, how did you explain that away, or did you just not pay attention to it? Did her lawyers say, "Hey, there's semen here," and obviously she didn't do it?
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I can't assume that the lawyers were bad, but it was a jury trial.
It was
jury trial. So either these juries don't know that it's up to the prosecution to prove
the case.
Right. Do they not know that? I don't understand how with this amount of information that there was significant proof.
So anyway, after that happened in October with this weeks long of testimony by the Innocence Project. After that, Judge Stephanie Miley on December 19th granted Lobato a new trial, concluding that it was very possible that the jury might have acquitted her had they heard this testimony, had they heard this additional testimony. So then after that, the state had two different choices. They could appeal the decision, or they could have they could have appealed it, or they could have said, you know what, cut our losses, we're going to dismiss the charges. And that's what they ultimately did. They dismissed the charges with prejudice. So that means that these charges cannot be refiled against Lobato. And that was on December 29th that they dismissed the charges. So on January 3rd, she was finally released from prison. And that was, like I said, that was nearly she spent a total of nearly 16 years in prison.
Yo, she need to get paid. She need to get straight up paid.
If there is an avenue for her to sue, I hope she does so.
Because
very soon.
And my thing, honestly, I don't even think her being compensated is enough in this case. Like,
it took 17 years. This woman is 35 years old now.
Yeah, I think along with her being compensated, I'm trying to figure out when is it time to go after, I don't care if it's like judges, prosecutors, investigators, police officers who railroad people like this. When is it going to be time we go after people like that? Because this is to me, this is criminal. This is not just neglect. When you are ignoring evidence, that's on purpose. That's on purpose. When you're ignoring evidence, that is on purpose. And when you are kind of constructing a narrative that you know is false, that's purposeful. This is not just, oh my God, like, oh, we slipped. Oh, we made.
Yeah, it wasn't. Oh, it's like, you can't call it a mistake.
You can't call this a mistake.
Yeah, this was purposeful. Like, there was intent behind their actions. Now, there's some more information that I had read about this case as well. So, days before the murder of this guy, Bailey, days before, apparently, he had raped somebody. He assaulted and raped somebody. Okay. So on July 1st, 2001, and that was about a week before he was found dead, Bailey assaulted and raped a woman who lived in an apartment building next to the bank where his body was found. Okay. It said that Bailey threatened to kill the woman if she told anybody about this attack. And she didn't initially, but eventually she did report the attack to the police. What was this? About 3 days before his murder on July 5th. So she also said that she told a number of her male neighbors about the attack. And they actually had an ongoing dispute about with Bailey about the attack. So despite all of this information, it didn't go anywhere.
But the police felt that an altercation that Lobato had that didn't even match up the timeline was more relevant than this one that had way more merit to it. I'm thinking you have to ignore that. Not only does it have to be purposeful, there may be an indication that they know the person. There may be some connection to the person, because I doubt it was, the woman who got raped. It was probably one of the males in her life. Brother, father,
that would make sense.
Friend.
Yeah, one of these neighbors. Yeah,
one of these neighbors that probably was, I guess saw the need to protect her. They were close to her, so it would make sense it was one of them. Maybe they're friends with somebody. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe there's a connection there. Because for them to purposely ignore that.
See, my question would be, did you test these individuals? Like, did you test their DNA?
See, that would be the logical thing to do.
That would be the very logical thing to do.
Like, to me, like, this points to, like, them not being qualified to perform their job. They just don't. To me, that they either are ethically deficient or they're just not qualified. Either one of those two things, or both. There's no way to me that you don't know how to do your job. I just can't believe that.
I've never been an investigator, and I would know the next step would probably be, because they heard about this claim. Mm-hmm. They heard about this claim, and they just dismissed these potential criminals, these potential culprits. They just dismissed them without doing any kind of real investigation. They did not test their DNA, so they cannot say for sure that they are excluded from this crime. But they can somehow say for sure that Lobato did commit the crime.
They were
convict
sure
her
about that.
Twice, and then create some cockamamie story about how flies in Las Vegas act differently than anywhere else.
You remember
in the world.
the other two death row stories we did?
Yeah.
About, the story that they came up to justify, I guess, not looking into the case again.
Right.
This is on that same level.
It is on that level, man. When you alter the actions of flies just in one particular place,
one city. See, I don't think, I could be wrong, but when I read the article, this said Las Vegas. I don't think it said Nevada. I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm hoping it said Nevada, but either way, it's still been whack.
Yes, yeah. Even if it was just about the state, it's still ridiculous. It's still ridiculous. But like I said, fortunately for this woman, she is now out of prison. She can actually try to, recreate her life. She never really did get to live a life as an adult. So I can imagine the troubles that she's going to face now. I'm
kind of
being out of the world, really, for 17
reinserting
years.
herself into this world. And, those people still have their jobs, and they may have moved up in the world. They probably moved up in the world.
And that's why I say, like, I hope that, like I said, if there is a way that she can sue and get a settlement or get some type of money because of this situation, I hope she can. But it would be much better if the people behind these actions that put her in prison faced some sort of
consequences.
Yes.
And it's funny because this is a murder case, which requires like an extreme amount of proof, and it requires an extreme amount of like I would say accountability on the prosecutor's side to prove that like she was guilty of this murder. So it's very hard if you don't have a lot of evidence to convict people, and if they can do it this easily, imagine the cases that have been created for smaller offenses, things that are much more easy, or things that are more easily able to construct.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Falsely construct. Like the situation where these police officers were videotaped planting drugs. That's a little easier to do than murder, trying to set that up. But again, when you like don't get us wrong. We understand that like there needs to be a criminal justice system. Like people out here doing some dirt. I mean, there's you got rapists, you got pedophiles, you got people who steal, you got people who assault people, you got people who murder, you got people just out here doing bad things, people who steal, whatever. So you do need a system of checks and balances,
right?
So we can figure out what to do and where to put these people, like away from everybody else. But when it becomes an industry via capitalism, then we kind of set it up. Like it's a setup. Like what do we think is going to happen?
And it's not. And it's bad enough that it's a setup, but then it only compounds the issue when you can't get out of it. Like when the jury verdict is like gold, yes, and you can't penetrate it, even when some bullshit has happened.
Even when some new information comes forth, and like you said, bullshit happens.
Took her 17 years.
That's inexcusable considering how fast things happen in this world today. You know what I'm saying? That's inexcusable.
And a lot of it too. I don't know the background of this particular woman, Kristen Lobato. I would assume she's probably not a rich woman. I'm assuming her family is probably not a rich family. When you don't have the money to pay for that type of legal representation, then you need to wait on the Innocence Project, who like they try to do the right thing for people that are wrongly convicted all throughout the country, but
can they tackle all of these cases?
Exactly. They are stretched very thin. They don't have all the capital in the world. So they do have to selectively pick their cases.
So again, we have another example of a system of government that, regardless of whether they're targeting people or not, the people that suffer the most within this system are poor people. Why is that always the case? And we point this out all the time, how most Americans actually take the position that the government is what? Corrupt. The government is inefficient.
Most people say that, no matter what political aisle you are.
Yeah, exactly. No matter what side you fall on, they always say the same thing. Government is corrupt. The government can't get anything done. The government is inefficient. The government is bureaucratic. They like you can't trust them. But somehow that only applies like to the legislative branch and to the executive branch, but somehow the judicial branch, which is going to be connected, which is connected to our criminal justice system, which is connected to prosecutors, judges, cops, that branch somehow has remained like that part of the political body is like that the virus didn't spread. They got somehow that virus didn't spread to that part.
They got the shot, man.
They got the shot. Somehow that one part of the body didn't get it.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. And like there's nothing wrong with that part. I just don't get it. I get how people can have these kind of like conflicting ideas about government in one instance. You know what I'm saying?
But not extend that out to all forms of government. It makes no sense whatsoever.
And of course, and once again, we'll bring it up again. Who does that affect more? Poor people.
Marsha said there's no justice in the justice system. Unfortunately.
Well, what they say, just us.
Yeah.
Just us system. Yep. It's just us.
Not us.
I know.
Yeah. All right. Marsha said, yeah, I have cops in the family. I don't have any police officers in my family. I've known a few.
Maybe a few of my family, but I have some that are my friends. I have a few.
See, and see, you'll never hear us condemn the whole police force, all of the law enforcement, branch of government, all prosecutors, all judges. You won't ever hear us say that. But it's just that there are problems. There are significant problems that so many people are being faced with time and time and time again, and they don't have the means to like significantly combat it, like to significantly fight against it.
And and it just seems like those that in power who kind of have the ability to either step back or step up when the time is right do not do it enough. And they're using their power to railroad individuals that don't have the means to protect themselves. Essentially, it becomes a predatory form of governing.
And when I talk about the power to like fight against it, that can be like actively or inactively really as well too, because think about it. These people that let's say they're living beyond, they're living beyond a lot of people's means, they're living well above the poverty line. Money is not too much of a problem for them. They're living in a nice area. I would kind of think that they don't really have the amount of police officers in their area that other areas do, like we were just talking about before, in black and brown neighborhoods, right? So I think that more people are going to be hemmed up, like they're going to be falsely accused of something in poor neighborhoods,
because what happens is they see themselves as hammers and everybody else are what? Nails,
right?
No matter what they do. And so you'll find crime wherever you look for it.
Wherever you look for it, exactly. That's not to say that if they looked for crime in these well-to-do neighborhoods that they wouldn't find them. They're just not really looking for it there.
Oh, believe me, I know. We grew up kind of in a middle class area, and we definitely I've kind of been able to experience both worlds you know what I'm saying, with my dad having a job where he was a unit director for a Boys and Girls Club, so he had to like serve well, he had to work in underserved communities. So I was like at work with him a lot. All I'm saying is, and even the job I do now, let's just say, if you're talking about drugs, talking about things like weed, I promise you it's done at the same level.
And that's what we, and
because I have friends.
That's what the information says too.
And that's what the information says, and that's actually what I live from day to day. It's no difference. It's really no difference. You know what I'm saying? The amount of drugs like that are used and sold. But what you really don't see is you see, let's say, like, for the most part, it doesn't always happen. It's just disproportionately on one side. What you do see is maybe some parties getting broken up and people getting sent home and not arrested in a lot of these cases.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And see, that's what I'm talking about. Inactively, they have the power to combat these like false accusations or like just being a target of law enforcement. Whereas people that don't have that status, that don't live in those neighborhoods, they don't have that benefit.
They don't have that benefit. They don't have they don't have the political capital or like the monetary capital to fight against it.
It's so many levels, man. They're just disenfranchised, man. I hope she sues the hell out of him, man.
I hope she get like
sues the hell out of him.
I hope she get that doggone Powerball settlement. I hope she get that.
Straight up, man. Think about 17 years of the beginning of your adult life, man.
Yeah,
you are 18 years old. Your life is in front of you. You can shape it to be whatever you want, man. And at 18, you are now going into prison. Hope she sues the hell out of him, man. All right, well, that is the end of the stories. We're gonna open up the the call line, the call atmosphere, so that if anybody wants to call in, if you have a comment or a question about anything that we have discussed here today, or maybe you have a question about something else, you can definitely call us. The number is 646-876-9923. And then you have to put in the ID number, which is 933-216-5779, and all that information is in the description on YouTube as well. So,
and remember that it is a queue, so there might be kind of 3 people in the room at one time. So even when you get into the atmosphere, you may be second or third or fourth in line. We'll try to do our best,
right?
To kind of make sure everybody has opportunity.
You know what, man? I need to make a note. Where's that pen at, man? Because we need to change this graphic. we keep saying, but then I forget about it after every show. Because we don't, after we get off the show, I don't think about the call-in anymore. I don't think about that feature anymore. Change. All right. So that'll be what we have for the next show. Let's see. All right, but yeah, I mean, that was a good show we did. We covered a lot of different topics. I'm sure a lot of people have something to say about Oprah. So,
oh no,
I'm sure a lot of people have something to say about Oprah.
Yeah, people got something to say.
I'm sure somebody has something to say about it. Maybe about Steve Bannon. Maybe about this whole marijuana thing. Yeah, whatever the case, if you have something to say, definitely call in, and we'll love to hear your take on things. There's some other things going on as well that we didn't get to. The dossier.
Man, that dossier is like, to me, I don't even care about it.
Yeah,
whether the stuff is true or not, what does it mean anything? Is Mueller even looking at it?
Yeah, I can't get myself to care about it. I just can't get myself to care, man. It's just something that when I see the story, I'm like, all right, ultimately, what is this gonna do? Really, like, is this gonna go anywhere? Is anything gonna happen because of this dossier? No, it's not. I don't believe anything is gonna happen. We've been talking about. I mean, like this has been in the news for how many months now, man? How many months has this been in the news? It's just, come on, man. I think it's just a distraction, man, and I refuse to be distracted by this.
Yeah, no, it just feels like a distraction on both sides, actually, in my opinion. See what everybody's saying in the chat. Govern equals to control. Ment equals the mind. Yo, you might want to take a linguistics class, whoever that is. Because do you govern yourself? We govern ourselves, right? So yeah, I mean, even if it does mean that, it's not necessarily meant to be nefarious, right? Because you govern yourself with certain rules and attitudes you have. You govern yourself. It's not a bad thing. Can't create negative. We can't give words a negative connotation simply because we use them negatively. We have a bad, I guess, perception of it. The word itself does not become bad.
Shout out to Jeremiah, giving the show a little funds. Appreciate that. And shout out to all of our patrons on Patreon as well, who who find the I guess support us. Find it in their hearts to support us. We appreciate that so much all the time. All of our patrons, anybody that does contribute to us financially or just watches us and shares the content, we appreciate everything that you do for us, no matter what it is. We just like that you're here and watching.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. We appreciate like I said, the dialogue that goes on in chat. And y'all be going too. Y'all just go into all kinds of different stuff too.
No doubt, man.
Yeah, you can't, honestly, just people need to stop that whole is like looking at the state as this like evil force. I was like, there's nothing on this planet, including a family, a household, that needs to run efficiently without a government. A household, the government is the parents, and then sometimes a community, the government is the elders or the adults. That's a government. That's just a body of individuals that have certain traits and characteristics that they're good at to benefit the community. So a proper government, there's nothing wrong with a government. There's nothing wrong with a state. You can't have a civilization without having a state. The state is not the problem. It's how human beings, I guess, feel they need to facilitate certain things through that state. So you have to have, yes, we are all in a state of mind. You know what I'm saying? Is you cannot have a civilization without having some sort of organized state.
I see Marsha still is inquiring about where that ring is, man.
Yo, she ain't stopping. I don't know. I have to test drive. I got to test drive Marsha. Hey, now you getting to go out test drive. Where you live at? Hashtag troll scroll. Diesel, you stupid.
Tay Ray, the number Tay Ray is 646-876-9923. It's all in the description on YouTube. That's the only thing that's the only platform that we are broadcasting from. So you're right there, and if you see it in the description right there, that's the number you have to call.
Oh dang! You that's like you might as well be in China.
Yeah, man.
Because we on the East Coast.
That's on the other coast right there, man. It's a long plane ride right there. That's what, like 5 hours?
Well,
something like that.
Well, technically it's 5 hours, but on the clock I'm gaining 3.
But it ain't gonna feel like it.
It don't feel like it. Yeah,
not gonna feel like it. No. I called and it was a recording saying Zoom.
Really? Dang. It's showing that it's up.
Let me see this.
But we do think it's weird that nobody's calling. But right now it shows that the environment is active. We're online.
Let me see that number again.
We are testing it.
No, it's working. Let me see. No,
yeah, remember Tate as a pen, bro.
Yeah, it works. You just gotta put the pin in as well. The pin is 933-216-5779. You know, let me try to see if I can. Let me see if I can.
I saw somebody in the comment section talk about Oprah Winfrey's stance on the Iraq War. I saw that mentioned on my Facebook feed a couple of times. But I think here again, the problem is I think we talk about these celebrities as if they're not human beings. We talk about these celebrities as if they are not themselves kind of brainwashed to take certain positions. Like, we forget that they're human beings too, and they've internalized all of the things that most Americans have internalized too. And so you're making them you're creating, I guess, them as some sort of celebrity robot when they're not. So they take stances just like everyone else. They have like a personal political view regardless of their celebrity. So her supporting the Iraq war, okay, yeah, she just has a bad position. She's not really involved in politics in that point, you know what I'm saying? So she can be a victim of propaganda just like everyone else can. Like, don't think because Oprah is a celebrity, we do got somebody now.
Okay.
Don't think we got a caller and we'll get to you in a second. Don't think because Oprah is a celebrity or anybody is in the public eye all the time. Don't think because they have that status that they're not a victim of propaganda too. You know what I'm saying? I think that is the typical response we have for celebrities and people who are in high profile positions. We automatically assume that they're in league with the deep state or they're some sort of operative, and forgetting that they are citizens too. Forgetting that they are inundated and have been coming up on the same media just as much as everyone else. They can be a victim of propaganda too. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let's get the caller on the line. Let's see here. All right, caller is calling from 830 area code. Anyway, you're on the air live with LTMB. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's me, Taylor, calling from New Braunfels, Texas.
What's up, Taylor?
So, yeah, I just gotta comment more about Oprah. I don't know. I think the whole thing is just ridiculous, and I think it's just a waste of news coverage. And I really think she's just doing this to try to gain attention and just gain some donation money for it. I really think, I really think, and I hope that she's not going to run closer to the election, kind of like what Sarah Palin did. How she was considering about running, but when it came close, she just decided to not go for it, even though she was able to gain money for it.
Right.
So, but if she does do run, then I really think it's going to be bad news because, I think, what the DNC will do is they'll just rig the election in favor for Oprah Winfrey. Because
I don't know, she did, sell majority of stake in her own network, literally. You would think that if she's running for president, that would be a perfect platform that she could use. She could control. She would want to control that. So I don't know what a lot of people are pointing to that as some sort of sign or signal that she's going to run. But I would think that if she was going to run, she would actually keep that. You know what I'm saying? Because she could use that to her benefit. So I don't know, but I don't know.
She has some ties to CBS, I believe.
Yeah.
And that would probably have to, she'd have to probably relinquish that tie to CBS running for president. But she hasn't done that, so I don't know. Like you said, I think the idea is just ridiculous right now because it's just something that's being reported. It just came out of nowhere. It just came after her speech, which wasn't really too political or anything like that. And until she actually says something about it, like, why are we talking about it? Like, why are people getting so extreme on either side about it? It's just, you know, it's just something to do right now.
And honestly, I just don't. I just don't think. Like, I guess just watching Oprah for the past couple of decades and looking at her evolve and kind of looking at like how she sees the world. To me, it doesn't actually line up with politics at all, because you know she's on that kind of pseudo spirituality, think and therefore you are. If you think positively, things will change. You know, it's kind of like she's on that secret tip. Like, if you just think positively and you just put your mind to it, things will happen for you. That's actually not reality. That's not the real world. That's not how politics works. So I think it's those two things clash a bit.
Right, and then I remember, like, months ago, Chris Matthews, I think, from Hardball, I think his name is, from MSNBC, was like saying, yes, we need Oprah because we need empathy. I mean, that doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't.
And if that matters, not empathy.
And if, like, first of all, empathy don't work like that. Empathy is not some sort of like, it's not like mugs can contract empathy because somebody with empathy is in the room. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I touch somebody. If I have empathy, I touch somebody, and all of a sudden that person is just, they have empathy now. They just contracted it from me. That's not how it works. And like, even you know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, yeah, we need that, but we can't get that somehow through one person. Like how can you wait? Like think about that, yo. Like, is she gonna like Chris Matthews is, first of all, stupid. Like, can you construct legislation?
Yeah,
so, empathy
because
legislation?
you're empathy. Yeah, because you empathize with others.
Yeah, or I'm just saying, like, can you construct the legislation that like makes these congressmen empathetic? Because first you have to do that.
Yeah,
because they don't have it. And if they did, even if they did have it, do they even have the power to construct legislation that has, I guess, with an empathetic heart? They don't, because the system is not built on empathy. So it's not even built on that. So you can't activate some sort of human trait or human quality in a system that's not even built on that.
Like, okay, so if anybody that follows sports, specifically the NFL, the Cleveland Browns has been a mismanaged franchise for years and years and years and years and years, right? There have been so many different leaders, so many people put in position to try to rectify issues, put them in position to succeed. Has not worked. So should I call on, say, Michael J. Fox to come in and try to turn the whole situation around? Because I did see a picture of him throwing a football. I saw a picture of him catching a football. So obviously he knows something about football, and he would be the right type of guy for the job.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
Right, and I'm not saying that
he's a celebrity, yeah.
Right, and I'm not saying that Oprah's a bad person. I just don't think she's just fit for it.
Right.
Just like Trump. It's like, it's stupid.
Yeah.
To like, okay, let's the Republicans are doing the stupid move of having Donald Trump, run for president, even though he won. Let's do the same thing as our enemy. Let's act stupid and have Oprah run. Hopefully so she would run. And
it would really be
so she would win.
And it would really be the same strategy, just banking on people's interest in her celebrity, the same way people banked on the interest in Trump's celebrity, and saying that, well, this is not a politician, they're going to do the right thing. We don't need a politician, we need somebody that's going to fight for the people, and since he's not a politician, that's what he's going to do.
All right, and then of course in the same way with like Kid Rock, if we're like running for Senate in Michigan.
Right.
I don't know. It's really sad the way the things are going in our government.
Well, thank you, Taylor, for calling in and giving us your take once again, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome.
Yeah, man. You have a good night.
You too, bye.
All right, we got another caller, 310 area code. Caller, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Jimmy.
What's up, Jimmy? How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, I'm okay. Well, I'm still here in Thailand and it's raining. So, well, it's early in the morning, about 10 o'clock in the morning. So, what else is new? Just looking out the window, it's raining and kind of dreary looking. It looks like Los Angeles. You know something? I want to talk about Oprah running for president and Kamala Harris. Who are these people? You know, Kamala, I voted for her by mistake. I found, subsequent to voting for her, I found out she did a whole bunch of things. I would never vote for her for Senate again. For Oprah, I don't know what she's offering us. What is her program? What does she think she's going to do for us people who, for my fellow citizens who are pitching tents all over Los Angeles? And please don't think it's just Skid Row. It's all over the place. People are pitching tents everywhere you see a freeway. Okay, so what is she? Oprah is just a celebrity, and why are they dumbing us down to just throw these people out in front of us? In the beginning, they want us to vote for Chelsea Clinton. You know, here they're throwing out candidates that we're supposed to adore. I can't stand Chelsea. Finding out what she's been up to. When it comes to withholding the $10 billion for Haiti, $10 billion. Those people didn't get anywhere near that amount of money in charity that was related to the Clinton Foundation and disappeared. But we do know that she did have a beautiful wedding, and now Bill and Hillary are worth $3 billion. They can't account for what happened to the Haitian relief donations, and the people of Haiti sure don't know what happened to it. And then again, you have Danny Williams, the son of President Clinton. He never got a cent. He never got a cent from his father. And I understand that Crooked Hillary made sure he never would get a cent from his father, the president of the United States. So this is just so horrible. We have a Democratic Party that is run by a bunch of crooks who really don't inspire me. In fact, they depress me, and they do nothing about the massive poverty here in LA and throughout California. When I get to go around California, I cannot believe the number of black people and now huge numbers of white people pitching tents everywhere. Could I also make a statement when it comes to Israel? They're following our neoliberalism when it comes to economics. And if you check, it's an open secret. It's a very, it's a scandalous open secret that since Netanyahu has been in office, 1 out of every 3 Israeli Jewish kids cannot be sure of getting one single meal a day. In fact, they show on TV, on Israeli TV, a little girl being told by her mother that they don't have any food, and so she'll just have to go to sleep without dinner, having not eaten all day. These are things right out of the Depression, and that's happening in Israel and it's happening in the United States. This just terrifies me of the future when we have neoliberal economic policies which are impoverishing millions. At the same time, Netanyahu's son just got busted at a strip club, boasting about all the perks he gets. He's a son of a millionaire. He was talking to Israeli tycoon. In other words, we have very rich people in Israel and a whole lot of poor people in Israel. They're pitching tents too.
Well, Jimmy.
That's
I think those two things are connected. You mentioned Oprah, and then the celebrity of Oprah, and kind of maybe the media trying to tap into that, or the establishment trying to tap into that, and then mentioning all the increased level of poverty across the globe. I think those two things are connected. Maybe, and you said it's depression-like, and maybe that's the reason why the media is trying to kind of steer us into that kind of celebrity politics, because that's the only thing that's going to keep it alive with all of those the things that are occurring across the globe. And in California, like you said, with the increased amount of poverty going on, the only way to keep people engaged in politics is to celebrify it, I guess. So those 2 points are very connected, and I'm glad you called again to bring up those points. But the phone lines are lit, and we're gonna have to move on to the next caller. And we thank you for adding to the show once again, Jimmy, from
Thank
your
you very much.
location in
no
Thailand.
problem, my friends. I'll let you go.
And we will probably end up talking to you again on Thursday, man. Appreciate the call.
Thanks, Jimmy.
God willing. Bye-bye.
Thanks, man. All right, we have area code 360. You're on the phone. You're on the air live with LTMB. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I believe you're talking to me. Is that right?
You are correct.
Who is me? Who is you?
Okay. Your little operator, I wasn't sure what she said. So anyway, I am a Nanahui. You guys have saw my posts a few times, but I wanted to talk about, instead of Oprah, I want to talk about the legal system, like you were talking about this girl, being in jail. My daughter's got a master's in sociology, and she did a report on minors, kids 18 and under. And we're in Washington State. So in our state, and I don't know about anywhere else, but they pick up minors for prostitution, shoplifting, and if they get 2 or 3 of these misdemeanors, they go to jail till they're 18. So that's a 3-year sentence for shoplifting, or depending on what age they are. So she did this whole report on it, and she started volunteering. She had to do some, I don't know what you call it, internship.
Right.
So she went to the juvenile place where down in Nassau in Washington, they have a place for kids. So she went down there, and there was people in there, kids in there, that had been in there for 4 or 5 years till they turn 18. So I want to hear what you guys have to say about that, or if you even know about that.
I mean, I haven't heard about that specifically.
Where specifically are you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, this is in Washington State, but she's got her master's in sociology, and she said this is common. So my daughter was pointing out, she said, okay, as we continue to give all these tax breaks, and especially in Washington, so we got Amazon, we got Microsoft, and we got Boeing. And these places, you know what they pay in taxes, right?
Yeah.
So, as they keep giving all of these deep discounts, well, they got to wring the money out of somewhere. So where are they going to wring the money out? Well, they wring it out of us.
No doubt.
So, yeah, same with the kids. So they pick up these kids and they lock them up, well, then they put them to work. So like they just had a news report today, couldn't tell you where I saw it, maybe Democracy Now!, where in California, all those fires that they had, 9% of the people fighting those fires were prison inmates.
Yeah.
And they said the people that were getting paid make $10.50 an hour to $43 an hour, but the inmates were only getting $1 an hour and $2 a day.
Right.
So to me, that's slavery.
Yeah, I think there's many levels to it, and I do think that I guess creating a very a cheap workforce is a part of it, but I think it goes a little bit deeper than that when you're talking about kids constantly getting scooped up for these minor offenses, and I guess you link that to tax breaks. To me, that points to priorities, and you have 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds who are may not have direction in their life, and what we kind of do superficially as a society is some form of punishment, some form of criminal punishment, instead of trying to invest in their resuscitation, their livelihood. You know what I'm saying? Like resuscitating who they are. There's actually an underlying dysfunction that is going on here when you have young people going in a certain direction, and we tend to deal with them as criminals, and so that kind of, I do think that has an impact on their mind, because that's how they see themselves. They don't feel like they live in a world that cares about them. So why would they? And they see all the stuff that we see. they may not even know how to respond to it or know how to internalize it, but they feel it.
And see, this is really connected to what we were saying earlier about the different branches of government and how people see them. Because within, you know, politics, it's easy for somebody to say that politics is corrupt. You know, our legislators have been bought and sold. They don't work for us. You know, it's easy for anybody, no matter what kind of ideology they have. It's easy for them to have that position. But when you're talking about law enforcement,
it's like
corruption seems to escape them.
On your page there in your chat room, talking about Matt Taibbi's book, the Great American Divide, where the white collar criminals, they get a walk. You know, they're charged with felonies and they get a walk, but you and I, we're going to jail. Kids are going to jail for 5 years because they're under 18 and they're cheap labor.
And that's a product of the way the system is set up too, because where I was talking before minutes ago is people that are so unfortunate to have money or maybe live in areas where there's not a high police force present, something like that. They're going to be subjected to getting stopped by the police, random checks and let me see your ID, just things like that that will get them in a bind, put them into the system. They'll have to have they won't be able to pay for legal representation, so the quality of their legal representation is going to be suspect at best. And if they get convicted, if they're wrongfully convicted, can they get out of it? Absolutely not, because that jury verdict is ironclad most times. Like I said, it's just a product of the way the system was meant to be designed, and like you said, they're reaping the rewards.
And you know that I've heard this said by parents to their children, and usually it's parents that don't really have the means to I guess support their children if they get in trouble, financially support them. And I've heard the phrase, you can't afford to get in trouble, a lot. And I've heard that, I've heard that a lot growing up, and now it means a lot more now. And it's not, what I'm saying? I was like, I didn't kind of know what it meant. And I'm like, wait a second, like it literally means you can't afford to get in trouble. It's not, you see what I'm saying? It's not that, it's like you're, yeah. So it's like and I promise you, rich folks' kids get in trouble too, just as much and more so. You just don't hear about it. So yes, I'm all for personal responsibility, but I'm also for equal accountability as well. And I'm sorry, I'm not sorry, but it's rich and poor kids are not held accountable in the same way. Poor kids are held to account for their actions more so than rich kids are, disproportionately. And so when people of a certain economic level say you can't afford to get in trouble, it's basically saying you don't have as many chances. You might get in trouble once and your future is done. You got kids like Roy Moore's kid, he can be arrested 9 or 10 times and still have a bright future. But then we'll look at poor kids and say, oh, see, there's decisions that they made and why they can't make it. And that just pisses me off.
We all remember the case of the swimmer, right? The college swimmer that raped the unconscious woman.
Yeah.
Remember? And then the judge let him off with 3 months?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen if he didn't have that prestigious kind of background. That doesn't happen.
And actually, I've actually heard judges, when a kind of issue a statement on, based on a sentence, I've actually heard judges say that. And this involves even young people and older people, especially men. They'll say something like, well, he's a contributing member of society, or he has a bright future. I've actually heard that.
So, what does that have to do with the crime that he committed?
So again,
that shouldn't be anywhere in the punishment phase.
It's from top to bottom, and how we associate wealth with morality and worth and value, and that's a dysfunction we have in society.
Okay, well, love you guys. Love you're back on there. Gonna watch you every time I can. Thank you, boys.
Thank you for calling in.
I appreciate it.
All right. Love the callers.
Yeah, love the callers. The callers, they have so much to add.
Yeah. No, not Michael Phelps.
But man. I mean, I think they're mentioning Michael Phelps. I think that in addition.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, the other dude, the
I can't remember his name.
Bruh, start with a B.
Yeah.
Start with a B. It was something. It was
I thought there was a Y in there or something.
I think it started with a B. Brock Turner.
Yeah, there was. Yeah. Brock Turner, man. 3 months. Oh, think of his future. Like I said,
think of the future of his victims.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
We just don't really know how to actually, I guess, resuscitate victims in the society on a consistent basis.
He gets to have committed this crime. 3 months later, he doesn't get to think about this ever again. The victim has to live with this going forward for the rest of her life. Try to get over it. Not even try to get over it, because I think that's impossible. Try to just live with the fact that this actually happened to her. And that the punishment of the criminal that committed this act only got 3 months. And a pat on the back, go ahead and live your life. You have a lot to contribute to society going forward.
What about the whole? Remember during the Olympics, the Joker? I don't know if he was like a skier or a swimmer. He trashed that. He they pretty much trashed the hotel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot who that was. It was the dude. He was like second behind Michael Phelps. He's like one of the second. He's the second best swimmer. He's like in his 30s. He had like that funky looking hair.
Ryan Lochte.
Yeah. That was that in Brazil.
Yep. Then they along with that, the false claim about
the swim team. Yeah, that false claim that he was assaulted or something.
Right.
Yeah, try to get out of it, try to justify it. Yeah, we tend to, and I think
rules for different people.
And I think that is one of the reasons why Donald Trump became popular too. I think the point I made about us attributing value to wealth or perceived wealth, I think a lot of people were willing to look past Donald Trump's shortcomings, his very shortcomings, because they perceived him as a wealthy man. So they assessed him based on that. Like, he's valuable.
Yeah, he had attained a high level of success. He didn't come from politics. He was the right type of candidate at the right damn time, man. Where they were able to like, I guess, wear a blindfold to everything that Donald Trump is, everything else that Donald Trump is, and say that, hey, this is what the country needs. We don't need a politician. We need a businessman. We need a job creator. I'm not going to pay attention to all of the negatives that surrounds this particular individual. He's a job creator, and that's what the country needs. You're right,
Karasu. It is a violation of the 13th Amendment. It's one of those ways that we get around it, and that's the thing where people talk, like, people always, like, especially politicians, they're always, I carry around a Constitution with me all the time, or I keep a Constitution on my nightstand, or I keep a Constitution in the breast pocket of my suit, or I keep a Constitution in my glove box, or I keep whatever. I tape a Constitution to my forehead. You know, all this stupid stuff, but they find ways to work around it. You know,
we wouldn't have private prisons if I mean, there would be no reason for private prisons if they weren't going to purposely fill them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, they have to construct ways to fill these prisons because it's business. Anytime you tie money to something that is, like, let's say when you're trying to, well, I was going to say rehabilitate people, but we know that the prison system inside America is not to rehabilitate anybody. It's just to detain them, just put them away, take away their right to vote, disenfranchise them. Don't give them any real opportunity to succeed afterwards. Really, if we talk about the rates of going back to prison.
The rates of the recidivism rate.
Recidivism rates as opposed to other countries.
I think you can't just get rid. I think you can't completely get rid of people doing bad things. I just think that, you know, there's too many people that don't feel that they have value in the society. What do you think is going to happen with people who internalize the idea, the notion that they don't have value what do you think they're going to add to society? Nothing. They're not going to want to. They're not going to have a mindset.
So you have right back where they started, man.
Yeah, exactly. So you're right back where they started. And there's no way there's no reason in this capitalist system for us to invest in people like that, because those people like that cause us to carry a sense of guilt. You know what I'm saying? So essentially, we create criminals for the most part. Like I said, I don't think there's going to be a utopian society. I think that in human instinct and human characteristics, there's people's nature. There's always going to be some bad people, but I don't think that's where most of the dysfunction comes. I don't think that's where most of the crime is generated. I just
but see, what is most of the crime? Drug related.
Yeah,
most of the crime is drug related.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the crime is a result of this war on drugs that we created.
Yeah,
we have a financial
interest.
Yeah, in locking people up because of drugs. If we were ever to get our heads on straight and say, "Hey, let's stop doing this because it doesn't really put us in a better situation. It doesn't put our economics in a better situation to lock people up and take them out of out of the world that we live in, so that they can actually make a difference positively in our environment." Other countries have done it.
I don't mind putting people that are in jail to work, but I think making that work worthwhile and meaningful, that's the important thing. It's not putting them to work that's the problem. It's the conditions that surround putting them to work, where they're making like $2 an hour or $3 an hour. You're actually like compounding their lack of self-worth right there. You're saying that's what y'all are worth, so that's what you're gonna do.
I want actual rehabilitation for criminals, all criminals. I don't care if it's the least significant criminal in the world. I don't care if the criminal has been a serial killer.
Honestly,
no matter who that prisoner is, they need to be rehabilitated. Maybe some of them can't be. I recognize that, but I believe that a lot of them can be, and they can, when they get out, actively contribute to fostering a better society.
I think that the society we live in is going to create, I guess, psychological and emotional deficits anyway. So I think we create a lot of the criminals.
We do.
So essentially, this country was formed by what I would consider criminals. Like,
a band of criminals.
A band of criminals.
Yep. That went against their, I don't want to say owners, right? But it was kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
No, I don't know.
But yeah, in other countries, the recidivism rates are much, much lower because the way they treat the prisoners is much, much better. And they actually perform activities to actually rehabilitate them so that when they get out,
capitalism,
they can actually actually contribute to society.
Everyone is a dollar sign, man. In capitalism, everyone is a dollar sign. Think about, I don't know if it was what is it, Pfizer or Merck? It might be both of them. I could be wrong. If somebody could look it up, but I think they're dropping their funding research for Parkinson's and I think Alzheimer's. I could be wrong. I know it was Parkinson's was one of them. Why are they foregoing research on that? Because they realize that continuing their research means they have to invest more money. They're in it for the profit. They're not to cure anything or to make people feel better. They're in it for the profit. That's why they're I guess defunding their own research, because they recognize that it's an actual investment in people's lives, and they are investing in their pockets and their stock. So they don't want to do that.
There's much money to be made off sick people, man.
There's much money. There's, again, once you put that dollar sign on people's heads, that's how everything is viewed. How can we make money off these people? And the thing is like, this is the reason why they're constantly they work. There's this need to work overtime to overly demonize criminals, because there's money to be made off of them too. You know what I'm saying? There's money to be made off of them too.
That's why private prisons should not exist. That's why talking about health care, that's why the private health industry has no place in the market whatsoever, because their objective is to be corrupt. I mean, like, they can't do anything else but be corrupt. They're not interested in our well-being. No, they're interested in the dollar. They're interested in making money. That's always going to come first, and the health needs of their consumers is always going to come second.
Yeah, it's Pfizer. This was Pfizer. They're taking that tax break. They're pretty much taking the tax break that they got, and then no longer investing in the research for Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. This is after the tax break. They announced this after they.
Shouldn't they be investing more?
Macy's, they're closing stores and laying off a bunch of workers. So you're saying, so that tells me that tax breaks that these companies get don't create demand.
But then we already knew that. All right. I think we're going to get out of here. Been on for a little while, and we want to thank all our callers for calling in and, providing their take on the different issues. I always love it when the callers call in, man. We need more, man. We need more callers. I want at least like 5 to 10 callers every show.
Wait a second. Did you guys hear that another of WikiLeaks dudes has passed on at 36 years of age due to suicide? His app developer passed a short time ago with the same way at 27.
I didn't hear anything.
I didn't hear about that. I don't know. What are you suspecting?
You gotta ask.
I know. Young age, suicide. WikiLeaks.
Right.
Is somebody coming out to WikiLeaks, or is WikiLeaks cleaning house? Which is it?
I know there's something going on with Assange in Ecuador right now.
Ecuador, yeah.
Yeah, that's what Grandma Christine just said, yeah. Wants him out of Ecuador. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, thank you for the callers. You always add something significant to the program, and we appreciate it. We'll have another show on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We hope all of you can make it, and we'll have a fresh batch of stories to discuss and unpack and kind of dissect and get to the truth of the matter. Get to the ridiculousness of the matter.
Get closer to the truth, at least.
Yeah, try to. Yeah. But until then, everybody have a good night, and thank you for being here.
If y'all want to trek over to Facebook for a little while, we'll be over there for a little while.
A little bit, yeah.
Just a little bit.
9:45. Yeah, we'll be there for a little bit. Thank you for Marsha for being here. World Debt Now, Jenny Lynn,
Miss Tree, Grandma Christine, of course, Marsha, Marsha. Who else up in here?
Jimmy Taylor for calling in.
Of course, Tay.
The last caller too. I didn't get your name. Yeah, I couldn't.
Yeah, the call kind of got sounded like it was a little static.
Yeah, we couldn't hear your name quite clearly. But thank you for calling in. And a special shout out to all of our patrons on Patreon.
Who else up in here?
Thank you very much for contributing to LTMB.
Who else up in here? Still scrolling. Make sure I give. Of course, Angie. Ace of Base. I don't know how to find you for that one. Is that what that says? That's an Ace of Base?
Hell yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yo, Ace of Base. I'm sorry, man. I saw the sign. I'm sorry, man. That was a jam.
What else?
That was the shit.
What else? They had some other junk.
It wasn't
Warren Fry.
I think they had like one other one that got some kind of success.
Dang, this damn chat as long as what?
Yeah.
Of course, Diesel. I wonder if he up in here. Most people who were in here are still up in here. Damn, this chat long as what? Yeah, I'm still scrolling. I've been scrolling for like 2 minutes.
Let's get out of here, man. All right. We will see everybody on Thursday, 7 p.m. We will try to be there sharp at 7, maybe 7:01. You know how it be. Yeah.
Yeah, it's another baby.
Yeah. There was one other. Yeah, it's another baby. There was one other one too, though. It didn't. I don't think it got the same amount.
And weren't they like a Christian group to start out with?
I don't know.
I thought I could have swore they were a Christian group.
Or were they from like Sweden or something?
Yeah,
like
I think they were a Christian group. I think, and they just kind of switched it up.
Yeah, I think that name of that song was "All That She Wants." That's right. Yeah.
All that she
Miss Tree, a down to earth reprieve from the nonsense. Let the madness begin. Thank you for watching, Miss Tree.
Appreciate that.
I don't know what Marsha said. What's that? What's that?
Marsha may be getting into the bottle or something. What does that say?
Sushi?
Sushi.
I'm gonna say that T is silent.
Yeah, it's sushi. Yeah, that's it.
Sushi.
It's kind of like General Tso
Sushi.
chicken as T is silent.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Peace out.